Okay, say hello to the internet. Hello, internet.
Hello, Skynet. Alright, we had a tragic turn of events during our last game. We heard the whinny of a horse, we heard the squeals and screams of a man in terror, and we arrived too late to find him, but not too late to salvage some of the intelligence that he was gathering. Turned out that he was a Zentarum agent or a messenger, and he was delivering what appeared to be an important document, a map that laid out the first level of the dwarven city of Tethiamar, which I don't think I've shown to you because of the technical problems that we were having last week. So I might just bring that up now. And while I'm doing that, I'll go on to describe the true tragedy. Our illustrious drow, Alioun, valiantly sacrificed herself for what can only be described as an inadequate treasure. A simple map that details the Zentarum's exploits. It might be of immense use to us at some stage, but surely a poor compensation to the loss of such a light, such a beacon of light as Alioun, who was a follower of the drow goddess Illustre, the guiding light that leads drow into benevolence and kindness and away from the darkness and terror of Loth. So now we lament this loss, and we return to a Stonehenge that is flush against the edge of the Desert Mouth Mountains. We've since discovered, I recall, that this Stonehenge provides the magical energy for spells so much that when you cast a spell, the spell slot is not expended. We also have a giant elk here that used to be the mount of a now dead ranger or traveller, and the giant elk seems to want to accompany us, although with the departure of one of our players, with the departure of Bill taking his druid, it might be appropriate for that elk to go with Bill, since they were Dalavash, since Dalavash was as I recall, the person who did the most communication with this great beast. Of course, the whole reason that we're crossing the desert, the border forest, is to reach the Anarok Desert. We have 35 slaves, Badine women, natives to the Anarok Desert, and we are hoping to return them to their people. Though how we might find a group of roving desert tribes in the largest wasteland on the planet is a challenge that we have yet to fully address. For now, though, we're halfway through the forest. The mountains are flush against the south. The mist is thick. We know that this place is haunted by dark fairies that kidnap children and play tricks on travellers and other wicked, unseelie activities. What do we want to do?
They also steal people's horns.
They do. Insidious.
Unforgivable.
There's no to, but press on.
I do believe when we left off, we just encountered some more drow looking to sell us slaves.
That's right. We had to. We had pushed on. I'd forgotten that. Okay, so I'll find that encounter and can you recap your recollection of that so I know exactly what stage of that encounter we're at?
Sure. Sir Loin actually did a little write-up in the chat. If I'll just leave the floor to him to reiterate.
Sounds good.
Yeah, basically, a drow approached us and was like, "Yo, we've got a bunch of slaves here, and you guys have got a bunch of people. You want to buy some? And we're thinking about buying them because otherwise they'll just be taken down to the Underdark. So then Liam used Charm Person on him and told him to take us to his friends without alerting them.
Perfect.
And so
we didn't give them any sort of promise that we were like going to buy them or anything. We just said take us to them.
Yeah. So I think the plan is to have him take us to wherever his friends are hiding out, kill them all, and free their slaves.
And I think it was suggestion, which I don't think they know they've been under. So it's kind of, I think you guys still have a little more flexibility to play it out however you see fit. Yeah, I might be misunderstanding, but I think that basically he just thinks it's a really good idea to take you guys to where the slaves are being held.
Yeah, I think that's correct. It's like less of a charm effect, which basically makes you magical friends, and as you say, more like a great idea that he had himself, that he is convinced will be a viable plan, at least for the next 8 hours. So this rakish drow, slender and maybe a little malnourished, he leads you back to to a group of slaves. It's easier to find the slaves than it is to find the drow themselves. There are 8 of them, of which roughly half of them seem to be Dalelanders, and the remainder being ferals from the forest, or perhaps northerners from around the Moonsea, which is the area that Zentarum have originated from and have largely conquered. There are a handful of wolves here, or rather there are a pair of dire wolves, a pair of huge black-grey wolves that growl as the party begins to approach. But our drow ally, he doesn't seem to being oblivious to the danger that he's in. He is calling out to his allies and using the drow hand signals to to signal that this is that these people are peaceful and that they want to do business. Why did you lead them back here? One of the drows asks from the bushes, and if you have a passive perception of 17 or higher, you'll see someone up in the trees with their hand crossbow drawn and pointed down upon him. Otherwise, you'll merely hear the voice, and you'll be looking up into the green leaves past the mist, somewhat aware of where he is, but only vaguely. Why did you bring them here? You were supposed to make the transaction elsewhere. They insisted on seeing the slaves, and besides, how can they purchase the slaves without seeing them? It makes sense for me to bring them to the source. You are a fool! You have put them all in great danger. There is no danger here. After all, they know how lethal we can be, and all of this is either in the Elven tongue or a combination of, I guess it wouldn't be sign language because he's hiding, so it's probably the Elven tongue or Undercommon. And you're able, even if you're unable to pick up the words, you're certainly able to pick up the intent. One guy is angered, the other guy is charmed, and thus he turns back to you and says, "Well, here you are then. These are the people that are available to you."
Well, I'm gonna just scan the area and just see how many drow I can pick up. Probably difficult, but see how many.
Yeah. Make a perception check.
Can I make one too? Because I spotted the one in the tree.
Yeah, if you've got a passive of 17, then you would have seen the guy in a tree. But you can make a check if I roll it. Oh, is it passive 22? Yeah, that's probably going to be high enough.
I guess with that, I'd be able to see. I'd notice the guy in the tree as well.
Absolutely, the guy in the tree. Yeah, and you don't think that there's many more beyond that. Although Flightless will see the exact number, though I'm not sure he'd be able to communicate that number without blowing the cover.
Yeah, because normally with Drow sign language, they use a cloak to block their hand and then do a sign. But the Drow will clearly know that that's what I'm doing if I try to do something like that.
Exactly.
I suppose mostly he's more trying to remain hidden because this is too many Drow for his liking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, looking around to the rest of the party, we came here for a reason. So I'll go ahead and kick things off. I'll say to the charmed drow, well, you brought us here, we see the slaves, and we're ready to pay. But there's only one type of payment that slavers like you deserve, and that is cold steel as I attack him.
We do not accept steel, we accept silver and gold and platinum! You can put yourselves down here somewhere in this corner, as long as you're below and behind this particular drow, you can put yourselves basically anywhere.
The furthest corner?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Is Dalavash still about, or did he sneak off?
It's convenient if he's probably already left, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he could be waiting with the women. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Apparently not.
These are going to be our slaves. Okay. Alex said PayPal, no. No, they did not. I feel that they are more like Western Union type guys, because Western Union is evil.
Their checks always bounce.
Yes.
And I don't know if this was included in the recap, but Neum stayed behind this time because the Badine women were a little unsettled by the idea of staying by themselves in the forest. So
well, I'd say since Dalavash stayed behind because he disappeared, you could probably be here if you wanted to.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. It's up. Yeah, absolutely. It's up to you. Yeah.
I mean, I'll play.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to play the game?
Entirely up to you.
And do I drag my own token over, or
Yeah.
am I in place and I don't see me?
Yeah, that's right. Pick up and drag it into the box. Yeah.
And then click, and then initiative.
Kyle, you can bring your character in as well if you want. You can have been tracking the drow or tracking the slaves if you think that's appropriate, or tracking the party if you think that's also appropriate. Just to get you right into it, if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, good. So you can probably bring yourself in any other corner than perfect. And I'll go ahead and make up a token for you at some other stage.
Should have it basically done. Oh.
All right. So, they are betraying us. The drow say, knowing full well, if any race is practiced in the art of spotting betrayal, it's the Dark Elves. They've got a little bit of experience with it. And thus, the wolves run straight in there. It'd probably be better tactics for them to be a little bit more cautious, but being little more than dogs. Their instinct is to rush, and that's exactly what they do.
As this wolf here enters my reach, I'll use my polearm master feat to take my reaction to bonk him.
Don't think you get reactions until... Oh, no, that's only when you're surprised. No, that's fine. You can, yeah.
20
Bonked.
and 8 damage on that wolf.
Did you import your character? Oh, that's the problem. Yeah, cool. I'll give you access to it now. Here is the dials. Much longer. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Okay, so it's a great strike, and you impale the wolf. It lets out a yelp, surprised at running straight into offensive steel.
Polearm finally doing what Polearm should do.
Yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it? To set versus cavalry charges. Yeah. All right, flightless. The wolves have come to us. This drow is still confused. No, wait! We are merely doing a transaction.
Poor guy.
Was the attack made against him supposed to have already happened, or was that going to wait till the turn?
I don't think I've actually attacked him. It's more sort of like,
You got
I
ready
don't know, I
to.
ran forward.
Okay.
Yeah, like I took up a hostile stance, I guess, which kicked everything off.
So I guess like in the seconds immediately after your hostile chance, the wolves charged, and then you stabbed one.
Stupid dog! Remain where you are! You are going to ruin everything!
I guess I will bonus action hide, and then try to shoot an arrow at him.
Excellent.
Ew.
You seem to disappear.
I suppose I guess for narrative, I guess I was hidden since the start of the fight, 'cause I never showed myself.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Choo.
And I have been betrayed. I was enchanted. My mind is back to me now. But although his mind is back to him, his lifeblood is sapped out almost immediately. Oh no! I have been slain.
I miss him.
Poor guy.
Because Eleanor's just like, I'm going to get you with steel, and an arrow immediately hits him. He's like, Flightless was waiting for this moment.
By the silence of Loth, and he dies.
1 second.
Artisan.
All right. I'm going to swing my war pick at the closest direwolf. 19 hit.
All right, 19 is easily going to hit.
Max roll. 12.
Wolf lets out a second yelp, getting impaled upon a wall of steel before its ivory jaws can clench around any target.
And then my Still Defender will make a force attack against that one. 5 won't hit.
All right, I will not hit.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay. The drow are cunning enough to opt to attack the targets that seem to be oblivious. Rather than shooting at someone who's looking them in the eye, they'll be shooting into someone who's still looking around, trying to gauge what the issue is here. They'll also tend to go for the targets that are closest. No one's revealed themselves as an obvious spellcaster yet. So the Steel Defender is likely to come under attack, but disadvantage will be countered by the fact that they're out of range of hand crossbows for a flat roll. 1. Oh, actually, I'll start with that one. Does a 17 hit the Steel Defender? Does a 17 hit the...
Sorry, I was muted, yes.
Right, that's cool. Alright, so 5 points of damage. Is it immune to poison?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it might be. And so it's a mere scratch that does little. Do not be a fool! That thing has no blood. How can it be harmed? A fairy fire is then dropped basically within that square that's been put down. Actually, I'm not sure what it might not hit flightless. I'll just check how big it is.
I'm pretty sure it'll hit everyone.
20-foot cube.
20 foot. I think
Yeah, so I guess it won't hit Grimes either. But it hit the rest of you. So if everyone wants to make a dexterity saving throw as you're caught up in fairy fire.
I'm going to add my AC bonus to it.
Can you?
Yeah, if you aren't incapacitated, you can add your shield's AC to any dex save that you make against a spell or other harmful affected targets. Oh no, not only you. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, if you were the only target of the spell, the fairy fire, then it would come into effect, I think.
mm-hmm.
All right. In any case, whether you're affected by the fairy fire or not, it doesn't make a lot of difference initially, since the drow are out of range anyway. The advantage just compensates the disadvantage. Mara, do you have a passive perception of 17 or higher, or did you roll a perception check?
I have not. My passive is 13.
Cool. The drow will then attack you, seeing as you are not a robot and you're also not aware of their presence. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. They'll all be pathetic and miss. And our hapless hero is already dead. So 1 fired, 1 fairy fired, 3 missed, he's dead. That's it. Congratulations, Drow. That's the best you can do. No wonder Loth is ignoring you, Mara.
I can see them now that they've attacked, right?
That's right. You certainly
Okay.
can. They have cover, +2 armor class cover, but you can see them.
Alrighty. Well, let me see. We have dogs attacking my friends. We have stuff that's further off. I'm gonna deal with the up close first, and move here and try and hit that one with an inflict wounds because I want this over quick.
Yeah. But
I think I'm gonna go ahead and reroll that.
All right,
Because I
using
hate
the inspiration.
Yeah, I just hate to waste the spell.
Yeah.
Never mind.
All right, you accidentally touch a tree and kill that tree instantly.
Ace is coming for you.
That's right. Nature gods are not happy. All right. It probably makes sense that Chaka and Chaka was probably supposed to go just a little bit before.
That's fine.
Probably makes sense that Chaka and Grimes are together, since we're introducing 2 new characters here, so we might as well do it at this stage. So Chaka, you and Grimes have either been pursuing the drow or pursuing the party. We might work out which is which a bit later on. But how do you react to this scene?
Yeah, seeing the drow and the slavers is kind of my number one goal right now to help. So after seeing how absolutely worthless the tiefling is at fighting she'll kind of start not necessarily rushing forward, but running forward to here and just drop a fireball essentially right here.
Right. Okay, so it's only going to hit the one dude then.
Yeah.
But it's likely to devastate him. I'll give him a reflex saving throw, dexterity saving throw, but I don't think it's going to matter.
That miss or that's full damage. So what is it? It's 2d6.
Fireball?
No, it's the summoned wild spirit. It's a mini fireball.
Right.
10-foot range. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, because like a fireball in a place like this is probably going to earn the ire of druids. But
I mean, I'm a druid.
good point. I guess that gives you a free pass, in a way.
Yeah, I'm allowed to burn the forest because I'm
Precisely.
Circle Larson.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. You get it.
If lightning can do it, so can I.
And as
All
a
right.
bonus action, I'll pop Shillelagh.
Cool. So the drow is badly burned. And he spits out, "They have reinforcements," in the elven tongue. But his companions probably already worked that out, judging by the fact that there was an explosion that few of them could miss. Okay, Grimes. So you've been travelling with Chaka for a period of time that we'll determine quite shortly. You can see that there is that these slavers have their time is up. How do you react?
Let's see. I guess I'm just gonna dash towards the direwolf, and that's the end of my turn.
Excellent. And Neum, you are being rushed by some fellow. Your instinct might be that this is part of the ambush, or counter-ambush perhaps, but then again, they did just burn a drow alive, so they can't be all bad. Maybe they're really, really bad.
In my village, we didn't necessarily study combat tactics, but it doesn't seem like a sound one, even to an enemy.
No.
And plus, these big ass wolves are a lot closer. So I'm going to. I'm kind of in between squares. I'll just say this is 5.
Yeah, sure.
And then, nope. How do you do this? There we go.
That's it.
And I'm going to send out some scorching rays. And for this, I think cast it 3 times. Oh, I'll go and call. I'm gonna do 2 on this wolf and 1 on this one.
Excellent.
I'm also gonna go ahead. My first one, I'll use my remaining portent, which was 17. So I don't know if that hits or not, but
Yeah, 17 will easily hit. Yeah.
okay. Ah, damn it! Well,
Brilliant.
Sometimes that's the way it goes, I guess. And then I just click on this to do the damage, right? Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you roll multiple times with Scorching Ray?
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Second one, that probably misses.
Certainly will. And is the third one into the other wolf?
The third one was to this one.
Okay, and
15?
that'll also strike.
Okay. Oops, not the description, sorry. Or 13.
And although it's only a relatively mild amount of damage, the wolves are absolutely terrified of the fire, and they begin to panic and look like they are just going to run. They don't have the discipline to maintain an attack in the face of something that terrorizes them.
I think I got skipped over.
I think you did.
So if you don't mind, I'll go before the
Absolutely. Definitely, yeah.
I'll attack the northern one there. That looks like it's barely still standing, I would imagine.
Exactly right, yeah. Scorched and slashed as it has been. But you strike into its flank, and the thick protective fur saves it for now. But it then turns tail, literally, and begins to run, meaning a potential plethora of attacks upon it.
Before it runs, I'll see if I can finish it off with my bonus action attack.
Oh yeah, you've got a bonus action, right?
Yeah, Polearm Master. There's an 11.
You does not. You give it a clip across the rump, and with its tail between its legs, it attempts to flee.
So I'll take my attack of opportunity as well.
That'll be more successful. And I hate to think of the logistics of striking a wolf from behind with a spear, but I think you can get the idea that it's a pretty grisly and somewhat humiliating death.
I like to think it turns tail, and as it turns around, I hook the axe blade around its leg and pull it back, and it falls prone for a moment, and then I stab the spear down into its prone form.
Excellent. The old gaff hook attack. I guess it did. But with your halberd facing in one direction, you're unable to fend against the other, and frightened though it is by the fire, the wolf leaps towards Eleanor and attempts to get its revenge.
Still defender opposes disadvantage.
Very good. And that it normally has pack tactics. Well, it does have pack tactics, but without an ally nearby, it becomes a clumsy attempt with the steel defender just getting in the way. Flightless, it looks like we are going to be able to handle this relatively well, but it may be that the drow get away with this.
They're still expecting that invisible wizard with the insect plague. You can never discount that. But I'll launch now at the one I see, that the mini fireball happened at.
Yeah.
So no advantage, but 17 still hits, I think.
Certainly does.
7 points of damage. Then I will bonus action stealth.
It will reduce him to 0, so you watch as he falls out of the tree, and then hits the ground with a thud, and it's actually the fall that kills him, and not the bow. So the ground gets the XP, and you are denied it.
Nah, I don't want drow XP anyway. It's probably corrupted.
That's right.
And then he will move.
Ground. No worries. Grass levels up. Once again, and Artisan.
Oh, I was saying the brush now becomes, the grass now becomes bush. Pokemon evolution style. I'm going to make a war pick attack against the closest one, the wolf. That does not hit. And my Steel Defender will go for an attack on it. Does that hit?
An 11 will not. A 19 and a 21 absolutely will.
I didn't do it when I first pressed it, so it was just a 19.
Right.
9 force damage.
A 9 onto the wolf is going to be a slap, but not enough to stop it from its murderous rage.
That'll be my turn.
Okie dokie. The drow can see the way that this is going, but their desire for murder, not exactly revenge, because they don't care enough about their brothers to avenge them, but they have a desire to counter any insults that might have been hurled their way. Leaving the wolf to die, seeing as they couldn't hurt Mara, Eleanor's too covered in steel, Artisan is made of steel, and the Kenku is hidden. Neum could be a viable target, but he's very small and hidden behind walls of flesh. So Chaka and Grimes become the more obvious targets. So 3 of the crossbows come towards Grimes. They'll be at disadvantage. 1, 2, 3. A 16?
Nope.
Alright, if the 16 doesn't hit, none of the others will. And the drow then try to flee. They use their agility to run across the branches from treetop to treetop. Acrobatics checks 1, 2, 3. DC is 10. And 2 of them fall, which is hilarious because they're meant to be agile drow. One of them gets away, and the others fall clumsily, each taking 6 points of damage, and they are knocked prone in the process.
I think there's a 4th drow.
Yeah, there's one more.
Oh, that one there, I didn't see that one. He will go for Chaka.
Alright.
I think this will be at regular attack. I assume it's within 30 feet. Might not be, actually. No, it's not. So it's disadvantage as well, an 11, and makes his own acrobatics. And he, too, falls because, like, elves are not known for their agility. Okay. Chaka. It's raining drow. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I'll just move to there, and I'll do a produce flame attack on him. Disadvantage
Okay.
because it's on the ground. And bonus action, I'll tell my Phoenix to shoot him with the flame seed.
All right.
Nope.
But the flame seed is too busy burning down the forest.
Oh, he would have moved over this way too.
Excellent. Leaving a trail of fire behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Mara.
Alright. So we have 3 prone drow.
Yeah.
I think even if they get back to the Underdark, like when they tell like the matriarch what happened, won't they just? I can't imagine them living much longer than that.
What makes you think they're going back?
I'm saying even if they get back.
Uh-huh.
And she's gonna hold a shot for a bow for when one of them gets up.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Grimes. These are slaves in the middle. A few of them are locals, a few of them are not. The drow are fleeing, and your ally Chaka looks like she is about to pounce on one of the ones who fell out of the trees.
Is this direwolf still alive?
It is. It's still alive. It's still ferocious. It's a little bit scorched, a little bit bleeding, but not deterred by its minor injuries.
I just take my bone club and just charge right at it and just slam it down.
All right. You hit it on the rump with your bone. And the wolf does not enjoy being flanked at all, running around in circles as if chasing its own tail.
And then I guess action surge, and I will do another hit, and that's gonna miss.
All right. All the energy in the world won't make up for accuracy. But you have pincered this wolf now, Eleanor, with the assistance of an unknown ally who uses bones in the place of steel.
I definitely have some questions to ask once this is over, but he's attacking the wolf and not my ally, so I can count him as an ally for now. So I'll try to bonk the wolf on the snoot.
All right.
Critical snoot bonk
That's right. It's such a big snoot.
for 7 damage, and then attack for 9 damage.
The wolf fails into a sneezing fit, which leaves it vulnerable for your execution.
And I'll move this over here. And my turn.
And Neum, the situation has largely taken care of itself, although some comical errors on the Dark Elves' part, so it could be exploited.
Yeah, I don't like that they're slavers, but it's also kind of just to put them out of their misery. Like, you don't want to live after this. So I'm gonna try and move up to about here. And let me see if I'm in range real quick. Where is it? Yeah. I'll go ahead and introduce this guy to the magic missile spell
Alrighty.
at level 1.
He works out that he doesn't like magic missile. He casts darkness as a reaction, and that way you cast magic missile into the darkness. It's an old meme. Anyway, never mind about that. It's
I started playing. Good one.
It's a really old meme. I think it's like 20 years old from before the time when memes were memes. Anyway, you blast him, and he moves no further. Who was next? That's them. If there's any girls, I want to do them. The direwolves are dead. Flightless.
He'll sneak up a bit closer, and he'll knock an arrow and wait for one of them to stand up, and then try to hit.
Alrighty.
Just hold
That's a simple
action attack.
Very good. Okay. Artisan.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and send my Steel Defender up to say hello to this guy. He's going to... Oh, wait. I had to do my turn, but that's what he's going to be doing. And then I'm going to have Artisan run up and make a shot at disadvantage. Would it be at advantage since he's down, so flat roll with my hand crossbow?
Disadvantage because prone. The rules are a bit weird, but that's what they are.
When you're prone, you have disadvantage at ranged attacks to attack someone. So I guess the idea is to drop prone to make yourself harder to hit.
Yeah. Advantage.
All right.
Your crossbow sails over and sticks into a tree trunk behind him with a twang.
And that'll be my turn.
All right. The drow get to their feet, triggering attacks of opportunity.
Yep, held attack. So
I guess I'll go for the one.
That's what I mean.
Defender.
Oh, sure.
12 damage.
Instant death.
And I can't roll for shit today. Awesome.
It runs off into the woods.
And then bonus action stealth.
Excellent. Meaning we can either pursue them into the misty thick woodland, and potentially lose our own trails, or we can let a second one escape. Chaka?
Ugh. I'll start searching around in the camp. Kind of let them go.
Yeah. They are quick and stealthy, and the conditions are suit the prey more than the pursuer. Mara. Relentlessly pursue, or call it quits.
Are you muted?
Might have gone AFK. Grimes.
Sorry, I didn't think it was. Sorry, I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, no problem.
If I could take another shot, I'll do it, but I'm not going to chase after.
Yeah, they disappear into the mist, and it becomes very difficult to determine whether they swerved left or swerved right. Grimes, the same predicament befalls on you, except for you were further away.
I'm going to just kind of just take a breather where I'm at.
Yeah. Eleanor, you'll notice that the pyromaniac and the bone wielder are relaxing. What do you do?
Well, seeing as they aren't charging down any of my comrades, I can only assume that they were enemies of the drow, just as we were. So, first things first, I'll head over to the bound slaves and tell them that they're safe now, and I'll begin untying them.
All right. And at last, Aeneum, you are the one closest to this club wielder. Are you concerned by his presence or arrival?
Well, I'll ask, what is said club wielder doing now? Is he looking at me and like hefting his club, or the what am I left to react to?
So what
Um,
exactly are you doing? Yeah, Grimes. Yeah.
he's currently just taking out all the arrows out of the bone club. It's kind of he gives a wave to Neum once he sees him looking at him.
Okay, yeah, the Neum would probably stow his weapon, or at least lower it, and maybe give a nod back. Probably just look around, make sure there aren't any more of these. At least try and look at the highest passive perception. So, but that's probably what I'll be doing.
All right. And so the mist encroaches upon us. It begins to swirl in again, like a sea filling into a void. And we are left in the presence of not just the slaves that we came to rescue, but some rescuers who have also come to our aid as well.
Are the slaves shackled?
Tied, yeah, used probably vines or some other primitive rope.
I guess my still defender and I would work on freeing them from their binds.
So,
Simple enough.
what are you doing out here in the woods?
We're on a mission, I suppose you could call it, to deliver people back to their homeland, and we took a little detour here to rescue these people.
Well, you let the drow get away.
Yes, well, they're slippery ones. I'd rather not chase them into the mist.
I don't blame you. I've been following them for 3 days now.
for 3 days. Yeah, it's admirable. Did they take someone that you held dear?
No, they just don't belong here.
Well, I certainly agree with that sentiment. I'm glad we could assist you in your venture, even if we didn't mean to.
Well, yeah, well, thank you.
Well then, what about you? As I turn my eyes to Grimes, what's your story?
You see a pretty buff elf with wild purple hair and bloodshot eyes and burn scars all over his face. And he says, well, I'm just passing through. I was on my way to the desert, study them ancient runes out there. Got some interest in me.
Huh.
Saw you guys in a tussle. Decided to hop on in because I needed a bit of an exercise.
Quite kind of you. If you're heading to the desert, perhaps you might accompany us. At least until we get there. I don't expect you to accompany us for the entirety of our quest.
Oh, that's fine. I haven't ran into people in a long time.
Yes, I can see that as I look you over all the bone equipment.
I was slave to a fire giant for most of my life, and I just escaped. But I took his finger, as you can see.
Do you have like a giant finger hanging from your belt or something?
No, that's my weapon. This
Oh.
is the giant's finger.
The thing is a big finger bone. That's certainly impressive that you could take one down. Or rather, even take a finger from one.
I didn't take him down. He's pretty angry. He's probably looking for me still. But I was a slave to him most of my life. Most of my job was wake him up when Purple Worm got into his cavern and ruined his building. But I did learn how to make some runes and weapons off him, though.
Suppose he'll come to regret taking you in as a slave after all. Use that knowledge you learned against him. Use it to better yourself.
Yeah, perhaps that's why I want to find these ancient runes, see if I can find some more techniques I haven't learned.
Sounds like a worthwhile venture. If we happen by any ruins, I'm sure we can take a moment to stop and allow you to investigate them.
As the conversation goes on, is the mist still coming in?
The mist is constant in the border forest. It's always there.
Okay, so it's not like it seems like there's a cloud of mist heading to us.
No, it just when you stir it up, it then resettles like like as if it's been caught in a jar.
I guess while staying alert for like this, we'll gather the bodies near like the wolf ones because you probably can't carry those ones, and then get the holy symbols as usual.
Oh,
Would they have like symbols of Lolth, like since the silence?
they do not. They do not. They were not Loth worshippers in the first place.
Did they have any symbols at all?
They do not. Very simple equipment and stuff that is suitable that they've salvaged or made themselves relatively primitively. Some poorly constructed leather, some cloaks made out of poorly treated hides. At least their weapons are real. Zentarum make, incidentally, they have the little maker's mark from Zentarum. And speaking of the Zentarum, as we investigate the nature of these slaves, we'll discover that a handful of them, I think three of them are Dale Landers, people from the local region. 3 of them are hill tribes folk, who are a bunch of primitive people who live in the border forest. They can't read and write, for example. And 2 of them are Zentarum guards. They still have their surcoats of the Zentarum, but their armor have been removed and their weapons have been taken by the drow.
Hmm.
Do you know these people?
Not personally,
Hmm.
but those 2 there seem to be affiliated with the organization known as the Zentarum. Heard of them before?
Guys, there's a contradiction because slaves are Kenku, but Zentarum are drow. I don't know what to think.
If he noticed that they were Zentarum, he would have left those bound until the party decides on what to do with them.
Sure.
He doesn't know what to do.
I suppose I'll ask the 2 how they ended up being caught by drow.
You asked the Zentarum how they got caught?
Yeah.
We were loggers. It was our duty to find some of the choicest trees here within the forest and return them to our organization. We are just tradesmen. That is all.
Is
Tradesmen
that
are
right?
issued uniforms.
You are murderers.
What have we murdered?
The trees.
He looks around. I see that some of you carry wood. Will you punish them as well?
Perhaps.
I guess Flightless will just sort of gesture at his clearly elven bow made of that I think's made of wood.
Should we take them prisoner for now, or
Don't. This is not my shirt, says the other one.
the drow don't typically dress their slaves unless until they're in the Underdark?
The drow don't typically live on the surface either. Maybe these are atypical drow.
So loggers you claim to be.
Yes, loggers.
You wouldn't happen to be talking about the logging camp that once had around 50 Bedine slaves?
No. A
So,
different
can I
logging
do
camp.
Can I do an insight check on that one?
Yeah.
You can have advantage on your insight check. Yeah.
Right? Is
I'll
this going?
guidance it.
Sure.
50.
It was a suspiciously long pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll just in like the drow voice, it's got like deception, and then look at Eleanor.
That's what I suspected.
You know, I hear that the bird can smell lying. You wouldn't lie to us now, would you?
No, of course not. What benefit would there be in that? You are our saviors. The other one throws himself to his feet and tries to crawl forward to kiss your boots.
We can see if they know anything of Zentarum plans.
Yeah, if no one does anything, I'm gonna kick him in the face.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't suppose this looks familiar. I would pull out the mithril tube, which had the map and the cryptic warning inside that we took from the Zentara messenger.
think it is a scroll case, ma'am. No, it's not a scroll case. It's some kind of instrument. A flute. Flutes have holes, you fool.
Hmm.
Well, this is time for my lawful good colours to shine as I step forward. Well, the two of you are clearly allied with the Zentarum, which means that the two of you are also devoted to Bane. And Bane, nothing but a blight on all good and order. So, I'll give you a moment to pray to your god before I take your lives.
If I pray to your god, will you spare my life?
You pray to his or her god, I'll take your life faster.
Do we want to kill them bound or give them a chance to fight back?
I was planning on executing them using my halberd like an executioner's axe.
At this point, I assume it's been explained, at least to Niam, who's been with the group for at least a few days, that the group they're referring to these people having belonged to are the ones who were previously responsible for enslaving the Bedouin women we're currently escorting, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not like, what
Correct.
the hell are you guys talking about? Okay. Yeah, then I'm just gonna probably stand back and yeah.
Well then, somebody help me. Hold
My
this one down.
My Still Defender will push it onto it on his shoulders and force his head down.
I'll let my face fall into one of a stoic, stony, expressionless face. Heft up my halberd.
As you do that, I'm gonna kind of squat in front of him, just stare him down.
Fair enough.
Take it like a man. Show honor in the last seconds of your life.
I have a family.
I'm going to
Have a
also.
family.
That's such a raw line. I'm going to also restrain the other one in case he tries to bolt, seeing his friend get beheaded.
I didn't wish to join the Zentarum. I was forced into the organization when my town was overrun.
Can I do an insight check on that one?
Yeah, sure.
And why didn't you fight?
That is the question.
14.
So, he may or may not be lying, but as Chaka points out, he ultimately surrendered. It was join or die. I was converted at the point of the sword.
You could have refused and accepted your death honorably. But no, you traded your life for others. And now I'll trade yours for others. And bring the axe blade down on his head swiftly.
No further recourse. The Zentarum agents are dead.
Are we the bad guys?
No,
This is what Lord
any
would do.
lords would execute them.
I know.
When my master used to not want to kill somebody, he used to just cut their eyes out and let them go so they wouldn't find where his hideout in the mountains were.
Seems like unnecessary cruelty to me. At least this way is quick.
Even if you let them go, the woods would have taken care of them before they made it back.
Perhaps. But they are dealt with now.
I'm gonna kind of point off way in the distance. You see those sparkles over there? There's at least 20 panthers in that direction, waiting for them to run.
The hill tribesmen then immediately do run, but they do it in the opposite direction.
I guess it'll let them go. They're just barbarians.
The Dalelanders consider pursuing them as well, but then they stop. Say, ain't you them men and women that what done the right thing by Dagger Falls?
That'd be correct.
I ain't seen you before, but I've heard the stories. Say one of you's an angel, say one of you's a devil, and say one of you's a dark elf. Well, I don't see no dark elf around here.
Yes, well, she sadly perished not too long ago.
Well, one more dead drow ain't gonna make no one cry.
Kind of stare him down. Maybe not, but to us, she was a friend and ally, and I ask you choose your words more carefully.
Shut the hell up, Barry.
Now then,
You want me to break his shin?
no, that won't be necessary.
Master
then.
says that broken bones are the best way to teach lessons. At least that's what he used to tell me.
Well, I wouldn't agree, unfortunately. Now that the drow are dealt with, let's get you to your feet, shall we? What do you plan to do next? I'll ask them.
Who?
The Dalelanders.
Oh, okay.
I do hope that you're able to guide us back to the forest and we can avoid all them panthers.
Mhm.
Oh, there's no need to worry about the panthers. They won't harm you yet.
I do beg to differ.
Hmm.
I'll,
Say, you wouldn't happen to be a druid, would you? I'd say, talking to Chaka.
yes, that's what you say it in your tongue.
Do you think you could ask the forest to allow these men safe passage back to the Dalelands?
I'll kind of reach up to my necklace and pull off two kind of long horsetails. Kind of like horsetail necklaces and place them on them. As long as you wear these, you will be safe from the druid. They will see you out safely.
They don't know what to seeing as you're not going to help them. They have little choice but to make their own way through the fairy-haunted forest with neither arms nor armor.
Well, we'll allow them to take weapons and arms from the dead drow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We saw a map, like from where we are to where the desert is. Is there like a settlement?
No.
Within the border forest, there are no settlements, except for like the hill tribes, and even they'd be semi-nomadic.
No, I mean from where, because we're still in the Dale. Or are we like just on the border?
We're in the border forest.
Or way
I
off.
think about it. Dalavash, seeing as he's no longer in the game, once we could take them back to the women and then have Dalavash escort them back. And
That's a great idea.
Yeah, perhaps he left us because he was summoned to the druid moot or something like that.
Perfect.
His name personally came up, so he felt he couldn't refuse.
So we might put them on the giant elk, and then send the elk east while he goes north.
Like maybe we're getting a bit too close to the desert, and he's like, "Well, I mean, I'm a forest druid. I can't really go there."
Don't have
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction.
Stars druid, but yeah.
I mean, but like, this isn't his jurisdiction. I mean,
Exactly. Little birds would speak to him and summon him on his merry way.
Return to the women and then resume our journey.
Righty. Okay, so we're back at the we're back with the group. The Stonehenge has been left behind a number of hours ago. Grimes, could you roll a D100, please?
Well, did we want to do backgrounds at all, or?
Yeah. Do we want to do them? That's a good question. Let's get into that. Yeah, just a moment.
Yeah, it's a good time to do it.
Okay, great. All right. Well, look, we'll start. We'll start with Chaka. What's where were you born? Where are your people from?
So she came from far to the east of the Plain of Horses.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, like, even further than off this map, right? Like, we need the bigger map for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like all the way up here. Yeah, like that? Yeah, sure. Okay, that's great. So what did your people do there?
They're nomadic horsemen.
Perfect.
Livestock.
Oh, yeah, cool. All right. Are you descended from the recently arrived hordes, the Tugan, who are like Mongols, or have your people been in this region for much longer?
The Mongols.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you probably grew up during the Great Migration or the Great Conquest Invasion, however you want to look at it. What was life like to basically be born on the saddle during a conquest that would take a literal generation?
I don't know. It's all I grew up with, so it was adventurous. Never really planted your feet, but grew up in the saddle, like you said. Always on the move.
Sure. What are some of the things that you saw during this expansion? Were your people at the front line? Like, for some reason, were your family at the front line, or did you more trail behind over? Did you trail behind over a much longer period of time?
So I'd assume her father was at the front line, but mother and the other kids were trailing behind.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Alive and fed.
All right, cool. Did you have any particular hobbies while you were growing up or an adolescent?
She spent a lot of time with the tribe elder, the shamanistic woman.
All right, and is that how you got initiated into your order? Your circle?
For the most part, yeah.
All right.
She definitely laid the path for her.
Do you think it's a traditional path within your people, or is maybe your sub tribe like a subsect of the Garota Horde? Maybe you're the Fire Clan or something like that. How do you see fire druidism playing into the broader culture of your people?
She was definitely an outlier, even among her own tribe.
Yeah.
When she was not super young, but I don't know, late teens, she was out riding horses one day and came across a glowing yellow feather. It is believed to be from a phoenix. And when she picked it up, it left a burning mark on her hand. So she's traveling west to figure out what's going on.
Alrighty. We're level 4, aren't we? So that's pretty impressive. It's about the pinnacle of what the average adventurer can ever hope to achieve. Most people, get to about that and have either become frightened by the prospect of dying or become successful enough that they can retire. What are some of the adventures, for want of a better term, that you've had over the past few years?
Besides just traveling, it's been minor mercenary work, dealing with bandits. Got into a large tuffle with the Zentarum coming over. Been fairly mundane stuff, nothing too out there.
Okie dokie. So you've made enemies with the Zentarum in this process. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Cool. Were you involved in the battle against the Cormyrian army? That the Cormyr basically, when they found out that the Horde coming across the Endless Waste was eventually going to reach, the civilized lands, the War Wizards teleported an entire army to intercept them up here. I think near Far or somewhere like that, or maybe it was the Vast. Doesn't really matter. Were you witness to that massacre that ended your people's ambitions?
Yeah, she would have been there. She would have, through happenstance, ended up behind the enemy lines and kind of was cut off.
Yeah.
Forced to fall back.
In the wake of that defeat, what did you do?
Just kind of tried to have a lower profile. Stay off the roads. Make friends with the animals.
Sure. Have you faced persecution because of your ethnicity?
I'd say so. Definitely is a social outcast among the civilized folk.
All right. All right. That's cool. Have you integrated yourself with druidic culture here in the Border Forest? Have you been living here for some time?
No, she's maybe 2 months. Still pretty new, and she showed up at the mood and was aggravated that none of them wanted to do anything. They all wanted more information to wait.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've basically been to the moot, represented yourself, and when you're like the only wildfire druid there, you cast your own vote, and you're done with it.
Yep. So I volunteered myself to go scout out the desert and see what's going on.
Brilliant. All those in favour say aye. There's 1 vote against. There's 0 votes. Motion is carried. All right. And how did you encounter your most recent companion, Grimes? And why did you stick with them?
I don't know. Let me know if this is going too far, but I just imagine he was kind of bumbling his way through the woods, not really sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe you saved him from some lesser beast.
Perfect. And were you pursuing the drow or the party?
More so the drow, but the party there was so loud she kind of knew that they'd run into the drow.
Yeah, you probably had. There might have been birds or deer that told you about their presence even before you heard it. But as you say, you would have heard it from literally a mile away.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of figured there was a second slaver party.
Yeah.
But when they attacked the town, she kind of pieced it all together. It's like, oh, these guys are just not the smartest.
All right, that works really well. Okay, Grimes, in regards to your enslavement, were you born into slavery? Were your parents also slaves?
He was born into slavery. The giant used to steal, babies, children, while they were young. That's the best so he could, get them while they're young, as they say.
All right. What do you know what your family did before that happened?
As far as he knows, his family was just some elves living in the woods. But he's not 100% sure what they did or what their names was. Even the name Grimes wasn't what he wanted. It's what the giant named him.
And why did they call you that?
Because he was grimy as a kid.
Yeah. Simple enough. All right. Alrighty. So, what was life like growing up as a slave to fire giants? I imagine it's incredibly hot and humid down there in the furnaces of fire giant forges.
It was really hot. Um, you know, punishment was harsh as can be. Basically, that's why he has all the burning scars. But in a way, it was kind of just like how the Spartans trained their kids. It was just through natural selection of just moving up through the slaves. Like he became, I guess I don't know what the word is, like top bitch. I had extra privileges compared to the other slaves, which had me access to his old master, kind of just training him how to smith things. Because when the giant was making weapons for himself, there'd be little intricate details that he would want, so he would get little hands to do it for him on his like hilt or whatever.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes, as you say, small hands are needed for intricate tasks. All right. A great upheaval has entered into fire giant society relatively recently. But not an upheaval in the bad way. On the contrary, a tremendous opportunity that they simply cannot deny. The fire giants live really deep in the Underdark. The Underdark essentially has 3 levels, more or less. The first level is roughly between the surface and about 3 miles down, pretty deep. The next level is roughly between about 3 miles and maybe 10 miles deep, really deep. And the next one is just unfathomably deep. It goes down 50 miles, and even you can't really guess or imagine what might be down there. But there you are on the second level, as it were, on the... have I still got sound? Someone talk?
Hello.
Talk.
Yeah, good.
Hello.
Test.
YouTube seems to have cut out for me. Oh, there it is. It's going again. Couldn't work out why everything's silent. Anyway, so the fire giants exist on the second level, the middle dark it's called, and they've been recently given an opportunity that they cannot resist. The silence of Loth has caused the collapse of Drow domination over the upper dark, the highest level of the underdark. And the fire giants have teamed up with an army of the dead. We're talking 10,000 corpses marching through the Underdark at the vanguard of a fire giant army going to destroy and sack Mare Mydra, which they do very successful. It's a 4,000-year-old dark elf city. It's older than Mithranor. It's older than Netheril. It's one of the oldest cities in the world, and it's only just fallen within the last 6 months or so. Did you ever make it to Mare Mydra, or did somehow you reach the surface while the fire giants were on their crusade?
I kind of took advantage of the chaos because I was kind of like his personal pet, like his favorite dog. So he would carry me around a lot. But while he was asleep, just as like an extra fuck you to him, before he escaped, he managed to craft some armor from some leftover scraps and stuff that he's been collecting over the years, and he chopped off his master's finger and ran off as a fuck you to him.
All right. How did you get away with such an audacious thing? Like, why did the fire giants? Did they send hellhounds after you to track you down or something? Why are you still alive after such an insult?
I think I would only be alive because it was during the assault. So during the chaos, I managed just to kind of get away while they're distracted with their resources attacking the drow.
Yeah, sure. They've got a much bigger fish to fry, and the loss of one slave, however insulting, is not worth it when we stand on the pinnacle of capturing the Underdark equivalent of Rome. All right. So you make it to the surface. you would probably find yourself, or I guess, do you wander long through the Underdark, or do you reach the surface relatively quickly, all things considered? Which of the two? Which path do you think is more appropriate?
I basically try to make it as fast as I can to the surface because I've never seen the sun.
All right.
So instead of like most elves would normally have dark vision, but being kept underground for so long and the lack of sun, I pretty much have the equivalent of human eyes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries. So you emerge. You emerge in an ancient forest, the ancient forest of Cormanthor, which is quite a long way from where we currently are now, a couple of 100 miles. Why do you abandon that forest? And how did you cross over the open country to end up in this forest? Was it luck? Was it design? Yeah. Why did you go from one forest to the other?
He's exploring, even though he hates the giant that raised him. The knowledge of runes and its power from the giants is something that he wishes to expand on, because one of his rooms, for example, gives him the ability to have night vision. So he's wondering what else it can do and the possibilities with this ancient magic that's only kept with giants and dwarves and master smiths.
Excellent. Well, you have heard of the inheritors to the giant trade, the dwarves. Before, in the ancient days, the fire giants of this region enslaved the dwarves of Tethymar, and they eventually got their freedom and founded, among other places, the mines of Tethymar. If you could make it to the mines of Tethymar, you would get an insight into ancient smithing practices that would be more appropriate to hands your size, since you are effectively a substitute for the dwarves in ancient times. The stuff that you did is the stuff that they did. Would that be a motivation for you to find this ancient ruin?
Yeah, that would be a good motivation because my character is just really interested in ancient artifacts and things like that.
Then your ears will have pricked up during the conversation that we were having with the slaves that we just liberated, because as it turns out, the scroll they referred to that you may or may not have caught them talking about was a map of the mines of Tethymar. So it looks like they've done the hard work for you.
I ask if they would be willing to part with that map.
Perhaps. We plan on heading there anyway at some point, so perhaps if you accompany us long enough, you would have us at your side.
That would be greatly appreciated.
So you guys are going deep into the desert.
That's the plan.
Well, I made a promise I would go there as well. So might as well follow you there. Make sure you all don't die.
We intend not to.
That is good. You have a fighting spirit.
So we go.
Alrighty. And so, with the party now united, some chopping and changing of the ranks has resulted in something of a new format to our composition. We're probably halfway through the border forest, though it's difficult to tell because the exact size of it varies from map to map. But we're probably about 25 miles of the way through a 50-mile wide forest. Given the nature of travelling through the forest, we're slowed down much more significantly than we would be on the open road. I think that's pretty easy to conclude. And thus we set up our camp for the night, having gotten closer to the edge of the forest. Is there any particular attributes that we're looking for in a camp, given that we now number well in excess of 40 people?
I guess a water source is always a good thing.
Uh-huh. You find a waterfall that trails off the Desert Mouth Mountains and doesn't turn to mist in the process.
And then I guess enough, probably hard to find in a forest this dense, but enough room to raise some marquees, perhaps.
Sure. You find the biggest clearing you can, chop down the trees that are in the way, and use those trees for firewood. So we're setting up our camp, or we've set up our camp, and as we are allocating watches, it's late evening, maybe 8:30 p.m. or something like that. The sort of time when maybe sensible people, like the Badine women, have gone to sleep, whereas the more reckless of us are still, talking and maybe drinking and so on. And you will pick up on the wind an unusual variety of sounds. Now, the wolf howls are nearly constant here, at least at night time, and they echo through the day as well. And the cawing of ravens and the hootings of owls is likewise relatively common, at least at night time. So we hear owls, we hear crows, we hear wolves, but accompanying those sounds, which somehow seem to be getting closer, getting louder, is the sound of an instrument. It's not a flute, more like a series of flutes. Not a harmonica, but imagine several small flutes pasted together and blown upon like a harmonica. And it's this haunting melody that you will hear in the distance, and it seems to slowly but surely increase in volume.
Sound good?
What goes there? You hear that?
Yes, I do. Oh, guess I'll be vigilant. Keep an eye out around the camp as the sound increases in volume, and try to see if I can spot anything approach.
Can I whistle down a bird to see if they see it's coming?
Yeah, absolutely. You have the ability to talk to birds, or do you have to spend a spell?
Spend a spell. That's the end of the night.
Alright. The druids are coming.
Oh, which druids?
The bird thinks one of the smaller druids, a small woman, and her entourage, her pack of ravens, her pack of wolves,
No.
her panther, and a satyr, providing their musician.
Would I know who that is?
Probably. It's halflings Ghostwise halflings are native to this region, and thus they probably make up the largest proportion of druids, except perhaps humans and maybe half elves. So there's only a handful of them that it could be. And of them, the most notorious, the most famous, the most powerful is Ace, an unfortunately named Ghostwise halfling whose methods and methodology might not be aligned with your own, but whose history as a slave of the Zentarum means that you at least have some common ground.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. Gonna meet royalty, I suppose.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll head off in the direction of the pan flutes. Kind of head them off.
Excellent. And so you encounter them first. They include a were-panther being ridden by the aforementioned halfling, a swarm of ravens, a satyr, a werewolf in werewolf form and hybrid form, and a dire elk that is loaded up with fresh meat and other harvests of the forest.
Good evening, Ace.
Oh, hi. I forget your name.
Chikara.
Oh, right. Have you seen a large group of people traveling through here? Mostly women, I think.
Perhaps. Why are you looking?
It's an awfully evasive answer. I'm going to take that as a yes. Why are you evasive?
I just want to know why you're looking.
We want to have a party. And she looks over at the satyr. We want to meet the new girls in town.
Huh? They won't be around for long, I suppose. They're heading out tonight.
Well, we better get a move on then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, show us where they are.
Alright, but don't hurt them, okay? They're nice girls.
You hear? She says to the satyr. You be good. Nothing vicious. He crosses his heart and hopes to die.
Alright.
That can be arranged.
Follow me.
So the entourage of beasts enters the party, and the women, not surprisingly, panic. The presence of a werewolf alone would be enough to set any of them off.
Are you
But
cutting out for
accompanied
anyone
by
else?
Oh, am I cutting out?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, the presence of a werewolf alone would be enough to cause panic, but everything else just adds to the terror.
Mm-hmm. Well, here they are.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the forest. We thought we'd give you the warm welcome that you all deserve.
Is that right? And what does that entail exactly?
She clicks her fingers, and the satyr doesn't react immediately until she gives him a glare, and he stops playing and goes over to the saddlebags on the elk and starts distributing great chunks of meat as well as mushrooms. Lots of mushrooms. Don't take too many, just a small handful each should do you.
Hey. Handing out this food? Where did you get this food?
Where do you think we got it from? The forest.
Do I recognize the mushrooms?
Oh yeah, they are psychedelic mushrooms. Blue meanies and gold tops and other things that bring about a change in one's perspective.
Hey there. No doing that.
It's a party! Let your hair down! Hey, who's got some beer? Wine?
I don't believe we
Elf
have any
wing?
alcohol.
Oh, come on, you must. You're holding out on me. You got something in there. Come on. I've been good to you.
Call us party poopers. I'm afraid we don't have anything of that sort.
You gotta be kidding me. You call yourselves travelers, explorers, and you don't have a beer?
Not here for a vacation.
Well, ain't that always the way? You come to a party and you hand out the goodies, but you don't get nothing in return, even when it's at your own place. And this is my place.
Well, we were just passing through. We weren't expecting a party.
Would you like to dance? Asked the satyr.
No.
The Bedine women are equally adamant that they do not wish to dance.
Dance.
Oh, you'll dance?
I said
Alright.
I was saying Steel Defender would dance with them.
Alright, the satyr will dance with the Steel Defender if only to look cool in front of the girls. The werewolf is more agitated than Ace is, and growls in Sylvan that we went to all this work for nothing. Well, who wants some? And she encourages everyone present to start taking hard drugs.
Chara will take one to try and settle the tension.
Sure. It tastes absolutely awful. You'll probably feel a little bit sick soon after. But your measured dose of hallucinogen does, I guess, make the party more interesting.
I just pass out, just staring at the sky and watching the horses as they gallop across the stars.
The stars are moving. It's the changing of the stars all over again.
Oh no!
Seeing the effect that the shrooms have on her, I'll be discouraging people from eating them.
Perhaps even more discouraging than the mushrooms themselves are a glowing, flaring fire that seems to manifest itself on Chaka's skin. Would you like to describe that now, Chaka? Since, like, in your absent-mindedness, you temporarily lose control over your suppression of it.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like a feathery pattern starts crawling up her skin. That's just glowing bright yellow.
Concerned look.
Yeah. So are the mushrooms supposed to do that? Are you okay?
Huh? Oh, shoot.
Hey!
Yeah, I'll kind of just squeeze my eyes and make it trickle back down just to my fingertips.
Hey, you saw that too? You didn't take any shrooms?
No, I didn't. I guess
Oh,
it wasn't
wow.
any kind of hallucination then.
Huh.
Yes, sorry. I have to go. I was kind of brought off into the woods.
Let her go. Plenty of girls to go around anyway. So the party continues whether you want it or not, and as the drugs take effect, their inhibitions fade away, and their decorum vanishes almost completely. You've got the satyr and the dire elk just trampling all over our campsite. The ravens are boldly taking food straight out of our hands and shitting all over our marquee. The werewolf looks like it's going to be a predator against the poor, innocent Bedine women of one nature or another. And the whole thing is just a terribly uncomfortable experience that is amplified by the destruction that your camp faces.
Guess like this will try to keep the werewolf distracted from like bothering like the Bedine.
Yeah, no worries.
Do the same for the satyr.
All right. The satyr thinks he's getting somewhere. She's talking to me. I'm in. And he constantly puts his hand on your thigh, on your knee, around your shoulder, plays with your hair, whispers into your ear with his goatee voice and his rancid breath. We should go somewhere more private.
I think not.
Perhaps you can bring a friend or two.
Shake my head. Frankly, as long as he's paying attention to me and not paying attention to the women, then that's a win.
All right. The only one that really has any level of composure and decorum remains Ace. And if anything, she gets less belligerent than normal, more at ease with herself, at ease with you, perhaps more karmically in tune with the rest of the world. And in what can best be described perhaps as a frat party in the forest, is there anything that you wish to inquire from any of these or do to any of these, or do you just basically let them be the boorish oafs that they are while trying to mitigate any terror or crimes that might arise from this situation?
Which one does Mara end up with?
Ha! That's a good question.
I think the best we can do is mitigate, because Ace's claim that this is her realm is not entirely inaccurate, considering she's a druid. So it's not like we can just say go away. So I feel like the best we can do is just try to stop them from doing too much damage. Like a bunch of rowdy kids that come rolling through, and just got to try and keep them occupied until they fall asleep and get bored.
Yeah, you're like the parents at the party that's been gate crashed. You don't want
to try to get like information about, I guess, lycanthropes. He's probably never seen them before.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Any information, like just how that works.
Make a persuasion roll, since she's unusually talkative.
6.
All right. She keeps mocking you. You say something in a various language or a strange sound, and she tries to mock it in the same. It's that's what it's like trying to talk with a kenku. She kenkus straight back at you.
Kenku, the Kenku sounds back.
That's right.
So he's making like her sound of like a wolf or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Well, I suppose a wolf is a bad example. Make her imitation of a bell.
Yeah. And she tries her best, and the satyr also joins in. He's a performer. The werewolf thinks that this is this is a waste of time. It's the shittest party he's ever been to. There's not even any beer. But we avoid any serious conflicts, any serious crimes, and as the dawn comes, the werewolf fades away, the satyr passes out, the elk was sleeping for most of the night anyway, and Ace is still pretty high. Probably takes a few more mushrooms to keep the trip going.
God.
So dawn comes without us really getting a very restful rest in, but you get the benefits of a full rest all the same. But you're likely quite tired, maybe a little agitated. In the case of Shaka, you're coming down, which is never a good feeling. and the party is over.
I imagine it's like when you get super drunk, but almost get into a car accident, it just kind of sobers you right up.
Yeah, that works.
That's kind of what happened to me last night.
Yeah.
High on adrenaline for the rest of the night.
Perfect. Yeah, you didn't take a particularly big dose, so it makes a lot of sense. Alright, Niam, could you roll a D100, please? Perfect.
Before we leave, seeing the effects that mushrooms have on people, I just want to gather some.
Yeah. Sure, like, you can take a pound of mushrooms if you want. They're offering away for free. It's like the 70s all over again. 60s? Whatever.
I'll take
both.
Both? Both? Yeah, no worries. So you have a pound of magic mushrooms. Is probably the best term for them. They are worth 10 gold pieces a pound. You could also use them to kill someone if you really wanted to. They're poisonous. So is alcohol, as most of us are aware. Alright. Ace fades away into the forest, taking her panther with her. The werewolf accompanies her, as do the ravens. The satyr sleeps on and they just leave him here. They don't like him well enough to even bother waking him. In fact, this is a great chance to leave him behind. The Bedine women are only too keen to get on with it and get out of here. A few hours later, we must be nearing the edge of the forest by now. You estimate there's less than 15 miles to go. You come across a river. The river has trickled down from the Desert Mouth Mountains. It hasn't plummeted down like an endless straight over the cliff. Rather, it's followed channels. We've passed the highest point of the mountains and the steepest part as well, and this channel river that cuts its way through the edge of the mountain surface turns into a relatively sizable river that flows west, i.e. into the desert. This is interesting enough. We can fill our water skins and so on. But what sets it apart from any other river is after travelling along it for a quarter mile or so, we come across a number of two-person canoes, 4 of them, not that many. We come across 4 two-person canoes that are leaning beside this river. They have oars, but it doesn't look like anyone is looking after them.
Do I see any footprints nearby?
Yeah, make a survival check.
Yeah.
You do spot some footprints at the river's edge, but you can't determine which direction they went in, except to say it must have been north, because if it was south, then it would have been the mountain. But you do notice that the canoes and the oars are bone dry. Save for, I guess, the mist that might cause some condensation. Yeah, in short, it doesn't look like these canoes have been in water for some time.
How peculiar. These haven't been used for a while. We should be on guard.
I don't know if with my wood stuff, if I'd be able to terminate from.
Yeah, you might pick up something interesting if you make a check.
Do you want me to make a check with the carpenter's tool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did that go through?
It did not. Um, 18 is good. What would you like to know?
The age of or how long it's been there?
About a day, maybe a day or more. A couple of days, no more than 3. One or 2 days. They are made of whatever is appropriate for a canoe. Maybe pine. Pine's a fairly strong and light timber. Maybe balsa wood. I'm not sure what a canoe would be made of.
Traditionally, they were birch.
Birch. There we go.
Yeah.
There are birches in this forest, so that makes a great choice.
Was there any damage to them?
No, they look like they're in good condition. Oars and canoes alike. They've looked like they've been placed here carefully, but not, delicately. Just the way you drag a canoe out of the river and prop it up somewhere safe. It's just fairly routine.
Weird.
I don't suppose we're going to need a canoe where we're going.
Yeah, not exactly. We have
No.
too many people to fit in them anyways.
Yeah. Suggest we leave it alone.
Done.
Probably.
So- You were saying?
Who?
I thought Artisan said something.
I was going to say it's probably the native, just like the Hills tribesmen. Are they still with us?
No, they ran into the forest even before we dealt with the Dalelanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. It might belong to one of those wandering tribes then.
Possibly.
No way to be certain, but yeah.
Does it have any kind of decorations carved into it, or is it just plain and functional?
Yeah, they do have decorations. They are mostly plain and functional, but but some level of ornamentation has gone into it. The ornamentation is of a delicate nature. Skilled hands doing carvings of ivory and elks and other natural scenes. So yeah, they haven't gone into a lot of work, but what work they have done is quite exquisite.
Suppose when you live in a tribe and do nothing but carve wood for decades, you get to that level of skill.
Yeah. And I think they would be just mad at us for taking it if they worked that hard on it, as hard as they did work on it. That is.
And they'd probably be mad at you for taking it, even if they hadn't worked very hard on it. Give me my fucking canoe back.
Yeah, we'll leave it be, I think. Unless anybody
Mhm.
wants it for any particular reason.
No.
Alright. Chaka, a D100, please.
Okay.
41. Okay. So you are approaching a meadow, a large clearing that is filled with flowers. It's easy enough to go around that meadow. Indeed, you have to leave the wall of rock that is the mountain foot to go and investigate this meadow. So perhaps you can't see it, but you understand, Chaka, the geography of this region well enough to know that there is a meadow there. The blue-tailed bees that buzz all around confirm that for you. And it's your understanding that a druid and his wife live there. A tall, strong, gruff druid and his broad, strong, friendly wife.
You want to go meet some friends? Or the last friendly feast we'll see before the desert.
If anyone asks the Bedine women, they do not.
Yeah.
Nah, their opinion doesn't matter.
Didn't think it did.
No idea what you said.
Hello.
Hello.
Better now?
We didn't hear the second half of your sentence.
How close are we to finishing for the day? Finishing our journey for the day.
It hasn't reached high sun yet. For all we know, we'll reach the edge of the forest before twilight, but we can't be sure.
Mhm.
Probably about 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, then we should probably just move on then, especially if no one wants to. Oh, if anyone wants to, I'm not opposed to it though. Wants to stay, that is.
Oh. Wouldn't hurt to go say that we're passing through. We're leaving his area.
Hmm.
I suppose it wouldn't.
Would
Like,
go ahead.
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to take a break and just say hi.
Feel like this will be a lot friendlier than the last ones we met.
Sure, I hope so.
Would they be angered at having 30 Bedine in their party trample their flowers on the way to their abode?
Probably less angry than 40 people just randomly walking in their territory without the courtesy of saying, hey, we're coming through, don't mind us.
If that's how you feel, then I suppose it's worth announcing our presence.
Mm-hmm. We don't all need to go. You can stay here if you want.
I'll stay with the Bedine if y'all want to make sure that it's okay that they pass through.
I'll stay as well.
Hmm?
Make sure everybody's together, and we'll just take a quick break, rest their feet, perhaps have a little bit of food, quick swig from the canteens and whatnot, water skins.
Okay. Oh, what about you, Bird? You coming with?
Oh, yeah, he'll nod and follow along.
And Niam will also stay. He's maybe still not quite used to the adventuring lifestyle, and it's hard to keep up after several days on the road. So he's welcoming a break.
Yeah. That's fair. Alright. So for those of you that do travel 1,000 feet into the forest, you'll begin to hear the bleating of goats and the buzzing of bees becomes a lot more common. The meadow filled with flowers, filled with bees, filled with goats, as mentioned. And at the center is a sturdily built wood cottage with a very bountiful garden and a spiky fence whose spear tips seem to shine like silver. Once you reach the edge of the tree line and make the meadow properly, you can hear the soprano voice of an opera singer, of a woman singing joyfully, gleefully, and you can smell freshly baked bread.
Hold on, give it a local. Hello? Is anyone there?
The singing stops, and a gruff, bearded man who looks to be about 40, but whom you know to be merely in his mid-20s, comes to the window and glares out. huge, broad shoulders, big, bushy black beard. Who goes there? And he yells quite defensively.
It's Jakarta. Just wanted to let you know we're passing through.
Oh, Chakara! Won't you come in for some milk and cookies? It's the feminine voice.
Thanks for the offer, but we're kind of in a hurry. We have a large company with us.
We've got a large lunch. Didn't you hear them, woman? They want to keep moving. They're busy. It doesn't mean that they don't have time to lunch. There's no need to be rude, Ben. Not being rude. I'm merely trying to express that they are too busy for idle chit-chat. Isn't that right, Chaka?
Yes, sir. That's mostly true.
Scare them off with that attitude, aren't you? I'm not scaring anyone off. I'm just trying to make you understand, woman. Sometimes you're too generous for your own good. Oh, and generosity is a sin now, is it? And they start having a domestic argument, and both of them are so loud that the party 1,000 feet away can't make out the words, but you can hear an aggressive man berating a defensive woman.
If it helps out, we could come in for a quick sip of tea. I'd hate to be rude.
Dear, of course! We've got freshly baked honey cakes ready.
Kind of lean down to Melissa's like, have you ever met a werebear before? Don't get on his bad side, okay? And definitely don't get on hers.
Otherwise, it'll be quite unbearable.
That's right.
I'll save myself.
Thanks, honey. Alright. So are you going to be intruding?
Well, we were invited.
You were invited, that's right. So you go in there, you cross the paddock. Some of the goats ignore you, and some of them are a little more belligerent. But none of them behave so recklessly that they attack. Yeah, no worries, man. Not a problem at all. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Sorry, fellas. Have a good rest of your evening.
Yeah,
Not a problem
take
at
care,
all.
man.
Till next time.
See you soon.
Because I'm going through my list, and these people don't seem to be on the things that are drows. Like he'll be invited. He'll allow himself to be invited in.
Excellent,
They're not
excellent.
quite Kenku either, though.
He's wary, but like he accepts their invitation.
So there are 20 of these hives, these beehives, and maybe 40 goats, including the kids. It's a pretty big farm, all in all. Mind the fence. You notice that the iron fence is rusted, but the tips still gleam like untarnished silver. Be careful. And you enter into this well-built log hut. It's beautiful and ornate. There are wolf pelts on the floor and on the beds. Homemade jugs of milk and of honey. A great big kiln which is cooking freshly baked bread and cookies and other baked treats. And Helga, the wife, begins stuffing in your faces with all that you can eat and drink, insisting that you have more than you actually want. While Ben sticks to business. So, you won't be going back to the moot then, Chakra?
No. I'm going to find some information, see what's truly going on out there.
Well, you've got more initiative than the rest of us if you're heading into Anarok. Though, keep in mind how dangerous it is in there. I only became the leader of the forest druids, the Hierophant of the forest, after the disappearance of the last Hierophant. The moon druid's gone as well, and the desert druid and the arch druid as well. They seem to be gobbling up people of our orders.
Aye. But Ace has gone full of herself, even more than usual, I suspect, because of it.
Ha! Mind her, Helga says. She's just got a bee in her bonnet.
You know, she's prancing around right outside your front door.
Yeah, she is one to prance where she will, as long as she doesn't prance inside my door unbidden.
Just thought you should know.
We don't lay claim to any area beyond the meadow. The forest is for everyone.
I see.
Sometimes I think we should drive out all the wolves. And then the deer population would eat all of the flowers and the roots. You don't have to tell me, woman. I understand how the circle of nature works. But you could have fooled me with your flippant blah 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 blah. And they start having a bit of domestic in front of you. They're about the same age, about 25, but both of them look older than they actually are.
As they're going off, I'll just sip on the tea. Be polite.
Excellent. Yeah, so if there's anything in particular that you want to know or talk about, Ben's probably the guy to talk about it. He keeps his ear to the ground. Being a Hierophant, he is privy to some information. Yeah, so there are a lot of stories that he could tell you about dragons and giants and monsters and all sorts of things. So if there's anything in particular you're interested in, you could ask about it. Otherwise, he just makes gruff and rather simple references to all of the above, undead and giant animals and ruthless treants and so on.
Flightless will, because he's got like questions from interrogators. Probably slightly aggressive, but like he's trying not to be. Just like, there's a missing person. Do you know where they are?
Probably got eaten.
Like, then he'll give the description of Rani.
All right. Oh, ha ha ha! Oh, that alley cat. She ran off long ago. Don't call her that. You know what she's like, woman. She's a hussy. Probably went down into the civilized lands to try to exploit some rich man who would fall for her feminine wiles. What would you know about feminine wiles? More than you, woman.
So, how do you think the moot will go? Who's going to be the next Archdruid?
I hesitate to say it, but I think our friend Ace will end up with the crown. Why don't you take it, Ben? We've been over this, woman. I don't want the role. Damn, I didn't want to be Hierophant of the forest, let alone the Grand Druid, the Archdruid overall. I'm not into politics. Well, you seem to know everything about everyone. And their agitation starts to agitate most of the listeners a little bit as well. It seems that every time they get onto a topic, they start personally attacking each other, as married couples are sometimes wont to do.
Mr. Honeywell, if someone were to nominate you and you won the election, would you say no?
I wouldn't refuse a nomination, but I wouldn't want it in the first place.
Well, that's the right person for the job, don't you think? Person who doesn't want the power?
I suppose so. I suppose you make a point. That's the point that I've been trying to make, and you've made it as nauseam, woman. Then why don't you listen? You're listening to her.
Sometimes it takes the second woman to tell a man. what he needs to know.
Aye. As more women, more problems. That was unnecessary. And the fact that he doesn't argue with her means that perhaps he even agrees.
But he'll never admit to it.
Exactly. He doesn't admit it, but you know, yeah.
He just drops the argument.
Exactly, right? Yeah, okay. I'll keep personally attacking you. I don't need to personally attack the guests. Okay, you got me there.
Well, this was truly lovely. Thank you so much for having us in your home.
Please take these with you, won't you? And she stocks you up on honey cakes and biscuits and refreshments, basically enough rations for one day for the entire entourage of 40.
Oh no, we couldn't take all of that. Please, you keep some of this, and I'll give her back like a handful of cookies.
She trades it for a jar of honey and a quart of milk. A pail of milk. That's my good pail, woman! I'll make you another!
Don't worry, we'll bring it back.
Alright.
Level 20, we come back. Like, here's your pail.
Man's pail.
It's man's pail!
His good pail. His good pail.
That's right. Alright, and you at last return to the party with fresh cakes and honey, and the Bedine women at last have something to smile about. Honey is rare as hen's teeth in the desert, and there aren't a lot of bakeries either. So they go down a treat, particularly with the younger women.
Eat up, girls. We had a long trip ahead of us.
Little morale boost as we carry on.
Yeah.
Precisely right, a morale boost. That's right, a bit of unity and so on. All right, Carrick, a D100, please.
32. Nice and low one for a change.
There's a bit. Okay. The river that the canoes were on broadly follows the edge of the mountain, and so rather than walking with the mountain flush on our left, we're now walking with the river flush on our left and the mountain just beyond that. We've finished our honey cakes and drunk all our milk, and it's about lunchtime. We probably ate while walking. Whether we did or not is not that important. But we hear someone weeping. It's a sweet little voice, high pitched, and it's high pitched and somehow cute, despite being so miserable.
Oh.
I guess Flyers will try to spot where the sound's coming from.
You're able to trail it to a rock in the middle of the river, and perched atop that rock is a tiny woman, only 9 inches tall. She has gossamer wings, 2 sets of them, and she weeps into her hands in obvious misery.
Yeah, what's the matter?
My sister has gone into a cave, and she has not come back out again. I fear for her safety.
What might she have encountered in that cave, which leads you to worry for her?
Monsters or anything. Probably monsters. Big ones, with big teeth.
Hmm.
As big as swords, or bigger. Really big teeth. And claws. And horns. And it probably spits fire.
Mhm.
And can do magic tricks. Oh no, my poor sister.
Sounds like a dragon.
Yes, it's probably a dragon. Oh no, my poor sister. She's in danger to a dragon. You need to rescue her without delay.
Would we?
We didn't catch that. I must sound like that sometimes, right?
Hysteric. Can you hear me?
Didn't
Hello?
hear much of it. No, didn't hear much. Try again.
I wanted to make an insight check to see if that was more hysterics than truth.
And I was going.
All right,
Because
sure.
we were told not to trust Faye. This seems like a very obvious go in the cave to trap us. So could I do one again for like that reason?
Absolutely.
Can I guidance myself?
I was
Yeah.
laying it on a bit thick.
We all seem to be in agreement here that there's more at play than meets the eye. If it's a dragon, she's probably fucked, or she's just going to come out by herself. And the monster that she described seemed to get more dangerous with every passing sentence that she either described or concocted. Hysteria, absolutely. Fear, probably. Deception, maybe.
Hmm.
I suppose.
Just wait there. Every movement is one more chance for the dragon to devour her.
And I suppose Flightless will like give that report to like Lady Eleanor, a lot of his insights. It's just like fear, death, like certain, like deception, maybe. Probably using those exact words, like in that drow voice he usually uses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I'll turn to the druid and ask her, is there a dragon known to lair here in this part of the forest?
Yes. Dragons. Yes. Oh, yes. Many dragons.
Have I heard
Everywhere.
anything about a dragon around here?
Green dragons are fairly common in forests of this size, and there is known to be a number of green dragons that live within the border forest, but they stick to the rules in general. You know, they don't want to agitate the druids. They generally don't like trouble. On the other hand, red dragons, or at least one red dragon, a colossal red dragon, is known to lair in the Desert Mouth Mountains, but it's pretty far down the other side, down the southern end. Yet its territory extends for literally hundreds of miles in every direction. As far as Cormier, as far as the far side of the Moonsea, the dragon, you know, the whole border forest and all of Cormanthor is considered its territory. Half of Anarok, too. And it doesn't tolerate others. It has no tolerance for any other dragon. And that's really why the Greens keep their heads down. Because they don't want to piss off Chromothoraxis.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask, why would your sister have gone into the cave in the first place?
She was searching.
For?
She chased a rainbow. And there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If you rescue her, she'll give you the pot of gold.
God. Convey. Well,
Atlas.
I'm not really sure what to do, I'll admit. I haven't had many dealings with Fae. I'd hate to have us walk into a ruse.
Yeah.
I can have my Steel Defender walk in and see what he can. Well, to try to see what's going on.
I suppose Flightless does look, it's man's obliged to help a woman. He'll like then sort of shape like angle his head to make it more like a question.
In the forest, they only live in the desert. The dragon would have eaten all the roots anyway.
God damn it. Yeah, I'm in favor of either some druid turning into an animal nonsense, or the Steel Defender going to check out this cave. So we know what we're dealing with. If it is a dragon, then we want to know how large it is before we think about trying to take it on.
Yeah.
I like to think it'll just be a pseudo dragon. And if it is, I want.
Yeah, I'll turn it to, I don't know, a field mouse or something and run in there and check it out.
All right. Is that so? That sounds like our reconnaissance of sending a mouse.
Yeah, try and figure out whether this is some sort of trick, or if it's not a trick, just what we might be up against.
Sure. Okay. So it'll take 10 minutes, half an hour, something like that. Where are we? 40, 32. Okay. So the cave mouth is pretty broad, about 15 feet wide, and the cave itself is about that wide as well. Perhaps the dwarves used this as a mine or some storage area once upon a time. It has the look of both being natural but also been worked at the same time, and that is confirmed when you find some ancient stairs. They're not particularly large, they don't really go anywhere. It's just, a place that they could have left it sloping. Instead, they've created half a dozen stairs. 300 feet or so in, the corner turns and then turns again. And after your mouse has travelled maybe 500 feet or so in total, not that far, but still a pretty substantial way, it comes to an old rickety bridge that spans over what must be a subterranean river. You can hear the crashing of water, and indeed there's some mist that rises up from down there. The kind of water vapor that you probably have seen, or where a waterfall falls into a lake. And on the other side of the bridge, the tunnel continues into this natural cavern that was worked by dwarves. The mouse can cross the bridge without any issue. It's sturdy bridge and only weighs 10 grams.
Yeah, I don't want to cross the bridge, though.
Sure.
Alright, yeah, I'll just return back and... Oh, the cave's pretty big, but I didn't see her in there.
You probably didn't go far enough.
That's definitely possible, but... I didn't hear anything either.
Dragons are very sneaky.
Yeah, but your sister probably would have been screaming if she's still alive.
She's got a sore voice. She can't scream very loud.
I would have heard something, though. And I heard nothing.
Then
sorry that your sister's gone.
She's got... Maybe the dragon gagged her.
Why would he do that?
Because he's very mean and cruel and wouldn't help anybody, even if they really, really needed it and their family was in danger. That's the sort of cruel, heartless creature the dragon is.
Why wouldn't the dragon just eat her, though?
Maybe he did.
Mm-hmm. So it's agreed. She got eaten by a dragon.
Poor sister! Won't somebody somebody recover her wings, which are precious and valuable. And there's a pot of gold as well.
I didn't see no gold, sorry.
You obviously didn't go in far enough then. I think we've covered that.
Now, how do you know how far it is?
I'm gonna subtle spell cast detect thoughts and read their surface thoughts of this thing.
She's got a great plan. She loves this plan, and she can't get it off her mind. And that's why it's right on the surface. You see, there's this wonderful spell called Polymorph, and you can use Polymorph to turn even rats into Tyrannosauruses. Like, there's nothing you can't do with it. Imagine that. Imagine how funny that would be. Someone's crossing the bridge, right, and then suddenly they start sleeping, because, magic, and then they fall off the bridge, fall all the way down into the water. That would be hilarious. And while everyone is like, oh no, suddenly the rats become Tyrannosauruses. Like, how amazing. How that is practical joke of the year.
Fucking fail.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, but your sister's dead. There's nothing I can do about it.
Oh,
And
you're
it's
very
not nice
fun.
to turn rats into T-Rexes on people.
What? Bye. I've got to go. And she flies away.
I tried to grab her.
Yeah, sure. But she's like on a rock in the middle of the river, so
Oh,
you'll
that's
like, yeah. It won't be easy.
No, never mind. I thought she was next to us.
Yeah, no, she's wisely stayed out of arm's reach in case any of you somehow don't believe her and want to take advantage of her poor innocence and naivety.
Catch the fairy and stuff her in a bottle.
That's right.
Shake it up.
Here we go. Unlimited light source. Alright. I do like that encounter. I can't wait until it actually works on someone and I get a TPK of a challenge rating 1/4 creature. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, like without the spell, like flying, because he's got a thing about recovering bodies. That, like he would have gone in afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
I sort of wanted pseudo dragon. I was hoping to.
Yeah.
Maybe later.
You're welcome.
Yo. As a gift, Mara, you can roll a D100. Returns a rats into a dinosaur.
Oh, we run into the guy again?
Oh yeah, we've already rolled 99, haven't we? Alright. We're nearing the edge of the forest. The forest is becoming less thick, it's becoming less misty. The air is drier here the closer we get to the Tuana rock, the drier the air becomes and the less water vapor provides less mist. On the northern side of the river, where we're walking, we spot an ancient archway. It's about 9 feet tall and about 7 feet wide. The archway is covered in vines. Vines wind up around it with white and yellow flowers, a few different types of vines. A squirrel is eating an acorn, but it quickly darts away as soon as we get too close for its comfort. The arch stands alone, all by itself. It might be taller than 9 feet tall because it appears to be half buried within years and years of mud. But whatever the case, whoever built this thing, they must have built it a long time ago because nature has essentially reclaimed it.
Would I be able to see if I know any of any historical importance of this way?
What languages can you speak?
Common, Drow, sign language.
Do you not have the Netherese language? You weren't Netherese, you were Dwarven, weren't you? Yeah, that's right, you're a Dwarven creation. Yeah. It's not in Common, it's not in Elven, and it's not in Dwarven.
Would anyone else know the language?
Back, I just reread the notes. It is in an ancient form of Common, it is in Dwarven, and it is in Elven. All of these runes are there. I completely got it asked backwards. Yeah. The archway has runes inscribed in it that to say in 4 different languages, because Gnomish is there as well. Welcome to Mithranor.
Well, that's weird.
Does the party know of Mr. Nor?
Everyone does, yeah. It's world famous. You might not because it was built after you were frozen, but everyone else would.
It's probably a portal to it then, if it could be activated.
Would make sense. I heard that Mithranor is in the Comenthor forest. Still, if this thing is a portal, I don't see any way to activate it.
Mm-hmm.
Mara will kind of search all around the thing, see if there's any like keystone or something like that. Check out the stuff.
As you search around for it, a spirit manifests within the archway. It appears to be a male elf with oversized, sharply pointed ears and long hair that flows almost down to his waist. And this elven spirit asks, "Who awakens Vesava, protector of the gate?"
Oh, many apologies. I am Mara.
Hello, Mara.
Just leave the thing flightless.
I see. Hello, flightless Mara.
No, I am Mara. He is flightless. And she will motion towards the Kenku.
It refers to itself as the thing?
It is a being that can only repeat what it has heard.
But I did not say. Never mind. Why have you awoken me?
It was unintentional. I do apologize. We were wondering what this was. Mr. Orr has not been has only been has passed into myth, and we thought it was in the Cormanther Forest, not here in the Border Forest.
These 2 suppositions of yours are correct. Mithranor has long since fallen, yet I guard the gateway even now.
So is this a way for someone to enter?
Yes. In times of yore, the 2 forests were considered sisters. Those who inhabited this region would travel freely into Mithranor, into the exchequery of interplanar trade, though I would discourage any such curiosity in this fallen age of low magic.
I see. So if we wanted to visit Mr. Nor, we could come back, and what would be needed for passage?
Why should I inform you of this?
I was merely wondering, is Mr. Lowe closed off permanently?
No, but it is fallen, and those who enter are likely to fall as well. Those who enter seek often to exploit that which is best left untouched. Perhaps you are among those unscrupulous tomb robbers.
We're not tomb robbers. We're liberators. Those who help and serve others.
The motivations of humans and their ilk are not always in alignment with Mr. Nor. She opened her gates to your kind, but you did not always treat her invitation with respect.
I see. Is that why she is no more?
She is no more because an ancient prophecy came to pass, which we had all thought would never be enacted. You see, a trio of terrible daemons were trapped within Mr. Nor, and the only thing that could free them would be if a red dragon of a golden heart were to fly peacefully over the prison. Only that would set them free. Such a thing should have never come to pass. A red dragon's heart is filled only with malice and hatred and self-serving greed. And yet, this creature was raised from an egg, and it was taught to be kind and gentle and thoughtful, proving that even the darkest hearts can be conditioned for goodness. Alas, this kindness fulfilled the prophecy, and the rest of Mr. Nor's history is well known.
I see. Well, thank you very much for that information.
Now be on your way, for I see no reason why I should inform you of the key to open the gate.
He's a bit curious if I guess he wants to ask the Red Dragon's name.
You might have to Google that.
Pulls out his iPhone.
But that's it. But it's not a name that we have brought up before. It's not Chromothoraxis anyway.
Person says the name and we move on.
Yeah, he does say the name, and so you're able to add that to your memory banks.
I wonder if
Well, also make sure to kind of rotate.
Ago, but Dragons live a long time.
Yeah, I don't know the history of that. I don't know if it died in the war or not.
Or if someone got mad and killed out of revenge. Because how dare it be bring the prophecy about.
Yeah. A red dragon that never knew malice or greed in its heart flies over the coronal's throne. And of course, that came to pass. Its name was Garnet Alisar.
Okay.
Right. The elven spirit resumes its rest as we hear its tale, and with no way of activating the gate and probably little intention, we're able to move on. Eleanor, a D100, please.
7.
High and low. Okay. All right. So it seems that this river that we're more or less following has a tributary that feeds into it as well. Though this tributary comes not from far away, but rather from a bubbling waterfall. So there's a bubbling waterfall that meets up with the main river. It's probably 100 feet long or something, close enough that we can see the bubbling waterfall. Not a waterfall, bubbling water hole rather, like a geyser, but only a small one. Anyway, we're going to have to cross over this small river in order to keep going on our journey. It's not going to be a tremendous obstacle, but it's unusual to just see a bubbling springs popping up out of the water, popping up out of the ground. Far from unheard of. Springs are a natural occurrence, but pretty unusual all the same.
Would we be able to check if the water's like scalding hot?
That's a good question.
Jumping in?
It is not scalding hot, no. Do you drink the water? In fact, it appears to be quite cold, colder than the river.
I have no need to drink water, so I won't.
Yeah, I'll give it a sip.
Salty. As salty as the sea.
This is seawater. What's it doing here?
It's peculiar. An underground ocean, perhaps, that is bubbling to the top.
That could be it. Or maybe we're standing on some saltstone.
We are near a desert. Salt is deserts.
I will go ahead and use Mage Hand to fill 2 vials with the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if it's as salty as you say, it's no good for drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Is after it joins the main river, does it make the main river salty?
Only partially, like it has a little bit of brine to it, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the life around here. If anything, it's kind of adding to it a little bit of magnesium or iron or sodium chloride or whatever the salt happens to be. Seems to be a nutrient that the forest laps up.
Is it clear?
It is. It's crystal clear. In fact, now that we've gathered up some of the water, we can analyze it, and there's no evidence of salt at all. The particles must be so small as to be invisible, which I guess is not that unusual. But it's crystal clear. Crystal clear. Clearer than the river water, even.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a pop with those 2 vials.
Very unusual.
Mario, you said you were going to do something, sorry?
Yeah, I was just gonna pocket the vials unless anyone wants to, like, detect magic or anything.
Sure. Yeah. Do you
I don't.
use it?
I don't have
use it?
that. I
Oh,
don't
you
have
don't.
those
Oh,
abilities.
right.
What was it that she needed?
Identify or detect magic on them.
I can cast Identify on it.
Yeah, if you want to check that out on one of the on the water, one of the vials.
Yeah, there is. Oh, identify. That's the perfect spell. Identify. You have elemental water. Elemental water comes in more than one variety. You know, you might think that elemental water has to be pure, just 100% hydrogen, oxygen, but not necessarily. The elemental plane of water has all types of water, which is salty and not really, salty and fresh. So this is elemental water. You can list it as elemental seawater if you want.
Gotcha. So I got 2 vials of elemental seawater.
That's right, yeah. Useful in a variety of applications.
And that geyser is probably well, small geyser is probably where it's coming from.
Probably.
Small gate to the water elemental plane.
Yep, unless they have permanent water breathing, I ain't touching it.
Alright, are we carrying on then?
Yep.
So,
I don't
if we
see
ever
why
need,
not.
if we ever need elemental water for whatever reason, we know where we can find some.
I have some on me still.
Yeah.
For the we have a map, right? Can we ensure that we mark both this place and the gate on it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We might put that on the other map right now. And the gate. Right arch. Um. I'll find one. All right. And we leave the elemental water behind. I mean, like we take it with us, but we cross the stream easily enough and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And finally, artisan a D100.
And now the Bedine have been bathed, so they have even less to complain about.
They do,
Hmm.
and they have
A 5.
a 5.
Very low.
Arch. Still trying to find this arch. All right. 5. Okay. We reach an unusually fertile wooded meadow. There are flowers and trees here. The grass grows particularly high. The trees are spaced up to 10 or 12 feet apart from each other. But yeah, in a forest that is already verdant, this place here, this acre or so, a couple of 100 feet in any direction, just seems to be far richer than any other part.
Is there a noticeable change in like soil or anything?
Great question. Make a some sort of check. I guess investigation, insight, nature. Any of those might be appropriate.
Looks like another druid grove.
What'd you get? An 11. There is a noticeable change. This soil is loamier, which means looser, more aerated, of better quality. It's basically the same as the rest of the soil, but when worms eat soil and they leave out their castings, it increases the fertility of the soil. It looks like this has happened here on an extremely significant scale.
Hmm. Giant worm.
It could be, yeah.
Do we want to tread through it or try to skirt around it?
Hmm.
Or would Chaka know anything of it?
I
Good
assume
question.
it's just a druid grove. I see no harm in walking through.
Well, if we have your permission, then I suppose we shall.
As you start to walk through, we have a passive perception of 17 with flightless, is that right? Or is it 21?
22 with
22, ridiculous. You'll notice some extremely large burrows. Burrows big enough that a human being could slip down them if they weren't careful. Within this grass, this meadow, this wooded meadow. There's more than one too. There are several of these burrows. The way a rabbit might leave a warren, maybe these are hyper rabbits, gargantuan rabbits.
I feel like we should definitely turn around.
Hmm.
I suppose if it looks weird enough, I suppose it's weird enough to mention, so he'll point it out to the party.
Those are some incredibly large burrows.
It can only be left
Curious.
by an incredibly large.
Well, I suppose you have
Looking
to
around, can I see any? Can I see any remnant of like white threads along the ground or around the edges of the burrows?
Sure. Yeah, make an investigation roll, or even perception. Either is fine.
15.
You find lots of evidence of calcium deposits. Imagine you got some chalk from a blackboard at a school, and you crushed it all up, and you scattered it. But rather than being fine, there were still chunks of it lying here and there. Yeah, an awfully large amount of limestone or calcium or some other white, powdery, chalky stone that that is in the area.
Oh dear. I'll point this out and say, I think we found the burrows of basilisks, possibly.
Do you want to fight them?
I'm not sure I would like being turned to calcium.
Or just don't get hit?
Can we? Oh, God.
It's not as simple as that, right? They look at you and you turn to stone.
Well, don't look at them then.
It's difficult to fight an opponent you can't see.
But not impossible.
No, it's not, I suppose.
Oh, should we
Suppose their-
walk it around?
Their eyes are valuable.
Hmm.
Well,
And they are a danger to a great many people.
true.
Should we have the? Should we have the Badine women stay back while we try to at least clear some of them, if necessary?
If we're going to kick the hornet's nest, they definitely would want to have them not be around.
Hmm.
Well, my opinion is to avoid these basilisks, lest one of us be turned to stone. But if anybody wants to fight them, whether it's to clear them out or collect their eyes for money, then I will help.
I see no reason to do more harm here than is needed. Let's just walk it around.
All right. Mara, Carrick, and Grimes, are you all okay with that?
So what was that? I think you cut out for a second.
I was wondering if the three people who hadn't voiced an opinion on it yet are okay with skirting around instead of going through.
It sort of seems like a smart idea, like not just like stir stuff up. Unless we like, if it's basilisk, we might want the eyes.
All right. Then I guess we're skirting around.
All
We're
right.
also going to have our hand mirror out just in case.
Yeah, Flyers will be watching the entrances just in case somebody comes out, so that he can alert people.
No worries. But nothing does come out, and we avoid the area. And an hour and a half later, we reach an obvious transition point between desert and forest. It's obvious because there are still trees, but those trees are dead. They find themselves in sand. You might recall from previous exposés that Anarok is continually expanding, increases by about 10 feet a year or something like that. And you can see the 50 or 60 feet or so where the desert has been created over the last 5 or 6 years or so, again, or so. Maybe it's 100 feet a year. Anyway, however big it is, it doesn't matter. The point is that probably 100 feet a year. Anyway, the point is that that there are several dead or dying trees that are growing in nutrient-free sand, and the border between the border forest and Anarok is as obvious as finding where the dead trees begin and the forest ends. You have reached level 5.
Boy.
Bum, bum, bum,
Yeah.
bum.
The Bedine women are very excited. They are home.
Are they level up too?
Did they?
Yeah,
Level
They
1.
do. That's right. They become tribal warriors. They go from commoner to tribal warrior.
I just
Yay.
wake up and there's like 30 tribal warriors. Like, wait, what happened to the women?
Yeah, they're just out there sharpening their spears.
They have like war
Hey,
paint on.
we can get home on our own now. Let's go, lads.
Ho, 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 ho.
This level is such a significant power spike. All the market.
Yeah.
Extra attack.
Probably the most significant, probably, in the whole game, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I think
Third
level
level
3.
spells.
Yeah, you're
No.
probably right. Maybe.
Level 5. Third level spells. Bonus cantrips.
2 attacks a round.
So you
Yeah.
get your subclass at level 3, which changes the way you play the game.
Yeah, most do.
Not-
Not everyone, but yeah.
Yeah, not everyone.
Yeah,
though.
it's a valid point. Yeah.
I feel like level 5 is the point where we go from being novices to actually being competent.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it as the 1 in 1,000 point, or at least the 1 in 100 point, or 100 level 1 characters. Only one of them makes it to 5th. The rest all get eaten or give up or whatever.
Mhm.
I'll take a few minutes break, and I'll see you back in shortly.
So be careful, Weld. I have 3d6 sneak damage now.
So upset they took Fireball away from Wildfire Druid.
Maybe it's too strong.
It's not. People were complaining.
It's taking away from the identity of wizard.
Yeah. And Sorcerer. Druid can't be a blaster.
have second level spells now. Hooray.
Oh yeah, it's the other boosters. The half-casters get second level spells.
I don't think I've used Smite a single time.
Probably not.
Got
But Smite
uncanny dodge.
available.
I don't
We
think
haven't really run into like large gobs of HP creatures though.
Yeah, I've
I
had
don't
no
think I've
reason
been
to
attacked
Smite.
yet. Like,
Yeah, we haven't been in that many fights
yeah,
really.
to be honest. Because I've also been pretty in the back.
Uh-huh. We did a bunch of skirmishes, but nothing
And I think
like
one of the Urogs got like a chunk on me or whatever it's called.
mm-hmm.
The things that begin with O.
Cool.
Those things.
Yeah, that hits you pretty good.
Because I've got poisoned as well.
Good thing I'm able to remove that with lay on hands.
Thing is, with the lycanthropy stuff, I wouldn't be too actually too opposed for this becoming a lycanthrope. I think that'd be quite fun. Like with the whole like curse thing.
That'd be fun.
Mhm.
Get that black blood.
No, because one of the they have a kindred form where they can just turn into like a wolf or something. But like, do the Kenku curses still apply when you're a wolf or not a bird?
Oh, can you still not fly even though you're
I mean,
an
it doesn't
actual
have
bird?
wings, but I mean the other like limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is your thought still constricted even though you're not a wolf, even though you're not a bird anymore? And when you get high enough, like in the lycanthropy stuff, like you can speak in your kindred forms. Like, how would that work with Kenku? Would it get a voice, becoming its kindred form?
Don't know.
Use a curse to break your other curses.
I need so many spells and I just don't have the spell.
Pain of being a sorcerer.
I'll trade with you. Druids at third level spells get like nothing.
Oh no, I'm I'm a level behind on that because I
Oh,
took a
that's
level
right.
of rogue first.
That's
But
right.
like, we're gonna need Creator Destroy Water, and so I'm gonna take it. But
I already
like,
have it.
you already have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I also really want to pick up Suggestion to go with Subtle Spell.
Conjure Animals is pretty good.
I don't want to bring more pets into this party. Yes, it is a very strong spell, but we already have 2 pets.
Would Arcane Lock be a good thing for ensuring we have like a place to rest, for example, in Tediamar or other buildings?
Pretty situational. I'm not sure it'll help
yeah.
us much in Nanarok.
They put the best padlock in the world on the tent to watch them cut through the wall.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm actually going to choose Aid because that's dope.
You get more max HP. You get more max HP.
Yeah, what is it? In a Curse of Strahd game I used to be in, I did Divine Soul Sorcerer, and he had extend cast at the end of the day, so that you'd have 8 hours of like aid at the end of the long rest.
Yeah, make it 16 hours.
So you'd have all your spell slots plus aid.
Mm.
And what I did to start with, it was just like, hey guys, you want to come and quietly meditate with me, like for a bit at the end of each day? And then the first day, they're like, nah, keep your religious stuff to yourself. So I only gave the extend aid to the people who like came and meditated with me. And then the next day, everyone meditated with me.
If only there were real life benefits to meditation, right? Anyway, being facetious.
They don't give me +5 HP, not doing it.
Could pick up Summon Fae. Turn us all into dinosaurs.
Oh, best pixie ever.
The problem is the DM chooses what it is.
Do they?
They do.
Yeah.
I've had this discussion so many times running D&D at conventions. Because everyone wants the pixies to just have flying T-Rexes everywhere. And it's like...
I mean, yeah, because that's
Right.
amazing.
It is amazing.
But
It's amazing occasionally when it is the go-to every single fight, then it's not as amazing.
Well, you see your DM at a convention.
Your opinion doesn't matter.
It's the one time they get to do it.
Oh
You
no.
gotta face it 20 times.
I gotta face it like 300 times, let's be honest.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I'll go to a convention and I'll put in a weekend probably about 40 hours worth of DMing.
No, thank you.
It's fun. It can be a lot of fun, but by the end of it, like I need a nap. A week-long nap.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite part was TPKing 5 whole tables. 4 or 5.
Nice.
That
At
was
the
fun.
same time?
At the same time.
Wow.
They, what's it called? There's a lot of power gamers where I live.
Yeah.
And so it was an epic, so it's all these tables working together, and at the end of it, they're fighting a giant illithid ship. And it explodes at the end, and the way it's designed, it's like, okay, every 5 minutes you add up the damage that all the GMs are keeping up, and you say, what percent the thing's at. It went from 97% to 0 in 5 minutes, because everyone just exploded on it. And so it blew up with everybody on the ship. And so when the ship blows up, it does a ridiculous amount of damage. So 5 whole tables just flat out died because all the power gamers just murdered the ship so fast. Because it's supposed to give you a chance to get off, but they just did more damage than the adventure was designed for.
Like 20 wizards cast fireball at once. It's just like, okay.
Dude, it's anywhere from tier 1 to tier 3, so all the way up to like level 11. Like, people are tossing everything. Casting haste with the paladin who smites with every hit, like, everything.
Smite advantage crit every hit.
Uh-huh.
Grave domain cleric vulnerability.
Yep, just all of the burst.
What do they expect the ship to do when it reaches it?
Explode.
I don't know. Yeah, right? I don't think anybody expected it to go down that fast. And so, yeah, like, freaking 4 full tables TPK'd. It's great. I'm laughing. I'm sitting there laughing like a maniac because that's freaking hilarious, but
Do we get a extra, call it proficiency tool thing?
Yeah, that's right. Tool, language, vehicle, or instrument.
I feel like learning Bedine would be fitting for me.
Good choice.
Should I go Mason's tools or Alchemist supplies?
They have stuff to make potions.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go Alchemist supplies since you can do that. And I can, after a long rest, I can you right tool for the job and technically just do that.
You being a budget Kenku.
No. Combine that with that.
Still budget. Most budgie.
I have the visual along with the voice though. That's what I'm going for. You have the full tape recording. I'm the I pretend to be that person. It's a little bit different. And if need be, I also picked up this. Because if I'm disguised, they won't know who to be mad at.
That one of those spells you just take and hope that they pass their save.
With friends, they don't. There's no save.
Yep, at the end of it, they end up mad at you. But like at the end of that minute, I'm gone.
And
then I drop
someone else. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is how I get places where I'm not supposed to be.
Nice. And I can't really use my favorite spell. Or spells. Plant growth and speak with plants.
There are cacti and a little bit of grass. Not a lot, but there are plants in the desert. Yeah. Not as useful, but still.
Deception of +10. Hell yeah. Jeff's deception is not nearly as good as Mara's.
Huh.
What happens if you try to drink the tidal wave water? Because it says it vanishes at the end.
Guess you're left with an empty feeling. Although, yeah, I don't know.
Your my insight's not
Or,
as good as the deception.
Yeah. Wall of water. 20 by 20 by 1 foot thick. Vanishes when the spell ends. Concentration up to 10 minutes.
Wait a minute, proficiency bonus went up. Yeah, 24 passive perception. I did say it was get higher.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. That's pretty nuts.
I mean, this isn't a super callback character. This is a sneaky character. I will get information out of you pretending to be your best friend. It's fine. And read your mind while I'm at it.
Very useful in the desert.
You know, yeah, I know.
I
mean, it might with the tribes. Like, if I have to talk to the tribes. If I see them coming, I'll just disguise myself as a Bedine man.
I have a retort.
Oh, you don't need to lie to be deceptive.
Yeah, that's pretty
They
fun.
do it all the fucking time.
Talking about that spell, we had a paladin who just cast that spell every time we needed to talk to someone, no matter how subtle we needed to be.
Oh, not truth.
Don't
Yeah,
it,
it's just like, oh, don't we need to talk to this child, don't spook them. Paladin steps forward, casts Zone of Truth that says, if you lie, I'll kill you.
What kind of paladin?
That's so lawful stupid.
He was the lawful good paladin of Bahamut, the god of justice.
See.
That's how I played my lawful good Kobold Paladin of Bahamut.
Como Paladins of Bahamut, yeah.
That's a fun character.
Yeah, they both were. They both were.
Can't wait for the haste smite shenanigans that we can pull off now. Especially with Polearm Master, that's 4 attacks that I could potentially smite on.
Who has haste?
I imagine Mara would take it, but I'm not sure. Or maybe
Next
Neum would.
level, I've got
Yeah.
spells to pick up.
Maybe Neum. Not sure what kind of spells he has.
He's going kind of illusionist, I think. I mean, it's divination, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I also got invisibility once per day. Nice.
Is it bad that I think Elemental Weapon might be one of my strongest 3rd level spells?
I don't even know what that spell is.
I think it's because
It
it does extra
hurts.
damage.
I know
It's-
exactly.
It's bad, but on my next level, I get add an extra D8 to any fire damage.
There you go.
There's some
So then it's-
synergy.
Crikey, that's huge.
Then it'll stack with Green Flame Blade too. That's any time a spell you cast deals damage.
Oh, that's brutal because you get it once for elemental weapon and once for
I believe that.
I mean, rules as written. That's what it sounds like because elemental weapon is a spell dealing
no, it's-
damage.
Whenever you cast a spell that deals fire damage or restores hit points in my spirit summon, roll a d8, gain bonus equal to the number rolled to 1 damage or healing roll.
Oh, okay. So it's only once.
Well, you could argue that the spell doesn't inflict fire damage. It bestows your weapon with the ability to inflict fire damage.
Yeah. That'd only be
No, there's a
Green
similar
Flame
spell at
Blade.
level 1, which I thought, Arcane Weapon, which I used when I played an Artificer, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's an Artificer one, though.
Yeah.
It's an Artificer exclusive, and that's actually a good spell.
Don't you? Isn't Fireball on the WoW?
Nope, they took it away.
They took it off.
Yep.
Oh
It's
my
too powerful.
god!
Because
I mean, granted, Fireball is a game-changing spell, but
yeah,
which means when I hit next level, I'm gonna have a lot of choices to make because like
Uh-huh.
tongues would be very useful for my build. Like, but there's also other spells.
yep. I get Call Lightning, Erupting Earth, or Tidal Wave. Those are my 3 damaging spells as a druid.
You said I can get arcane weapon.
Yeah, it's one of your first level spells.
Looks like it makes your weapon do elemental damage.
Mhm.
Also makes your weapon become a magic weapon.
Yeah, which is very important for Battlesmith.
What's the actual spell called? Because I'm looking up arcane weapon and it's not pulling up in the search.
Is it a UA thing?
No.
I see on the like D&D Beyond Artificer spell list.
Well, they might have got rid of it.
Looking at the UA
looks
entry
like
for it,
it's
it looks really strong for a first level spell.
Yeah.
There we go. 30
looks like it
deception.
has been removed.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much the Hunter's Mark, isn't it? But without the bonus to tracking.
With extra steps, yeah.
We'll also make sure weapon a magic weapon, which at first level you probably don't have a magic weapon. So it's
Okay.
huge, I think.
Yeah, magic weapon's one of those things you either have or you don't, and if your DM throws it in a situation where you need it, kind of an asshole. Which I guess it did do to us, but hey,
You gotta be done.
that was
The
fun.
first encounter.
That's why I took magic weapon, the spell, as my
Mhm.
one of my second level spells. So if we do need magic weapons, I can actually do something.
And
Yeah.
my infusion makes my war pick in magic weapon.
Yeah.
And yet I just have a magic weapon. So we have magic access to magic weapons. It's funny because I have lower than average dexterity, but the +1 weapon brings me up to like what was before what would have been average.
Mhm.
Hmm.
The interesting things to happen in the future for sure. I've yet to get my ASMR transformation off the ground, but at level 5, I think it would be pretty viable now. It just adds a flat 5 damage on one of the attacks that I hit on my turn.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you combine that with the channel divinity of this oath, which gives you your plus charisma to your hit chance, and you have 4 attacks, 3 rather, you're not always going to be hasted. Pretty devastating.
Yep.
Ooh. Next level's fun.
Yeah, next level would be good too, because then I get my bloody plus charisma to all my saving throws.
And I'm gonna slap you with a +1 to your armor. Because I'll have my 3rd infusion.
Yeah, that would be nice. We're going to need some money though to gear ourselves up once this is over. So I think that trip to Tethymar is definitely necessary for Dosh.
Yeah. I also get my proficient tool expertise at level 6, so my proficiency bonus with tools will be doubled on any ability check I make with the tool.
Cool.
Pretty good. What were those proficiencies available? Language or a tool, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Or a vehicle? Land vehicle?
That's a tool, yeah. Oh. Are you gonna just be calling it here for the night?
I guess so. What does everyone think?
I guess so. Would
I mean, we're kind of at a spot
Sounds good.
of
Yeah, there's no better spot, really.
Well, say
Yeah.
goodbye to the internet.
All
Goodbye,
right.
internet.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. And don't terminate me, Skynet.
Yeah.